Hello and welcome to Poker Night Live. Thanks for joining us here on this Bank Holiday Sunday. It's me, Kerr Scott, and James Browning as well, and we're going to take you through some of the poker universe tonight. We're going to be looking at cash games, we're going to be looking at MTTs, we're going to be looking at sit and goes, and having a little chat about what you've been up to as well.
Okay, I'll tell you in the chat what you've been up to. She's been fighting her way through, can you believe this, landslides? It's true, isn't it?
It is true, actually. I was nearly late getting here.
Where the landslide?
Around Haywards Heath. Yeah, the train stopped, and I promise this is true because people are actually going to probably check this out on the internet and see if I'm lying, but it is true. I nearly didn't make it.
I believe you.
Didn't make it almost in time.
Landslides
so, yeah.
on a Sunday. Wow.
Landslides
in England.
Indeed. Yeah, I know. It's not like it's been raining that much or anything. I don't know how that happened. Oh well, I'm here now. Thank goodness for that, because I wouldn't want to miss this for the world. I don't get to see all that often. So
yeah, that's right.
It's a bit of a treat for me for the bank holiday. And for you, we've got...
Big treat for me.
Ooh, thank you very much. I plan to grill you on the tournament that you just played as well.
Oh, okay.
And some of the stuff that you've been up to. So stay tuned for that. We've also got all of our usual games. And, of course, being a live and interactive show, we've got all your questions and your comments. And that's part of what makes this show a little different from all the other ones out there. A head and shoulders above, I would say. And you can get in touch with us here in the studio and give us your questions and comments in a couple of different ways. And the first way is you can send us a text. And you can just text the word poker and your question to 84222, or you can send us an email. Let us know what you're doing on this bank holiday Sunday. Are you playing a game at home? Are you playing online? poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. And if that isn't enough information for you, www.pokernightlive.co.uk is our website, and there's lots more on there, including the forum, lots of great stuff on there too, so take a look at that, guys. Now let's see what we've got in terms of games tonight.
Okay, let me take you around the tables, Kara. And it's the long structure. You start with 2,000 chips. It's a $5 sit and go. And each level changes after 12 hands rather than 10. It's a $20, and that looks like it's a long structure as well. And this is just the third hand of this tournament, apparently. And it's a cash game now, the 25 cent, 50 cent, max buy-in $50. And it looks like that game hasn't been going too long by the state of the size of the stacks. And this is green, it's MTT, and it's a regular MTT tonight, a $10. There's 105 runners spread out over 13 tables, and we'll be revisiting that tournament throughout the night, and certainly making a big effort to join them at the final table, because there's a lot of play there, and I do enjoy watching that, and we pick up some good discussion points. Absolutely, and I'm always interested to see the heads up in that sort of level of game as well. That's something that I know I was focusing on quite a lot last month, was heads-up play, but I think that is something a lot of people at my level, or people even who are better than I as a player, just don't really understand yet, the end of a tournament, the heads-up play. Yeah, and when we see the heads-up at the multi-table tournament, it's far better because they've actually got more play, whereas when we see the heads-up at the end of a sit-and-go, obviously the blinds are very big and there's not too much play at all, understandably. But in the multi-table tournament, there's a lot of play in the sit-and-go there, so it is pretty educational, and so we'll look forward to that. Excellent, I do look forward to that, but for now we're going to start with a $20 sit-and-go. That's a good price. I'm sure it'll be a good standard to play, and look at this, we've suddenly... Oh! Apparently we had... someone just had a house. Look, I'm Losing had a house there, and someone else had trips. So that's where we... Well, lost the person in the 4 seat. Lost the guy with the trips. Wow. And there's Look, I'm Losing, who's doubled up, which is a very nice state to be in. 6 players left, and he's doubled up. Very sweet. I'll say, especially this sort of time in a tournament, that's pretty good. Don't usually lose 2 players this early in a tournament. No. Of course, the average chips now is 2,666, because you've got 6 players left. So Look, I'm Losing is in great shape there. The Dreamer is also doubled up, so he's in great shape as well. But the others are fine. There's no problem at all for them. There's no reason to panic, because how do you check your panic level is, first of all, have a look at the size of the blinds. Well, the size of the blinds are at the first level, 10, 20. So that means there's loads of play. Because you look at the 2 blinds, add them up and divide that into your stack, and you'll see how many rounds of play you've got. And you can see that the lowest stack at our table there, who at this moment in time has got 1680, he has 56 rounds of play. But he's just got up to 1900. So plenty of play there. And in fact, at this stage of the tournament, when you've got lots of play, this is where you can actually be experimental. You can limp in there with some smaller hands, etc., etc.
Yeah, that's all good stuff to remember about a single table tournament, because there are different structures for the different types of tournaments.
Yeah, so there's a bit more play in this. So we can, as I said, be more experimental in the early stages. It's a good time to limp in with small pairs, looking to hit those trips, looking to find the big hand, some small connectors in late position. If there's a few people in there, it's good value to have a look with those. But don't fall in love with the hand. If they don't connect, just get away from the hand so it doesn't cost you too much money. Well, 3 diamonds on the flop, so Chugin has got the ace of diamonds, which is the... as we can see, this case is the nut flush draw. Of course, someone could actually have the 4 and 6 of diamonds and already have the straight flush, but they didn't. As we could see, because we see everything on Poker Night Live.
The all-seeing, all-knowing eye.
Yeah. And there's one of the hands I'm talking about limping in with, and it's a small pair. It's a pair of 4s. It's worked nicely. He's clicked trip 4s. He's actually bet with it, which is... but he's got a customer, and the customer's only got a 6, but he's bet again, and he obviously frightened his opponent away there. I don't know whether... I think he had enough chips there. I think Look I'm Losing there could have actually just slow played that a little bit against Andy Powell to try to get a little bit more out of it. Just try and feign weakness and maybe keep the guy interested in the pot. The Dreamer there, pair of ladies, he's made it 100, a very big bet from the button. Maybe he's trying to represent he's making a button steal.
Ah.
He liked by over-betting it. Possibly that was the idea, but it didn't work, or maybe he just didn't want to get involved with the guy with the big stack and thought he wanted to sort of make sure that he didn't join in.
I suppose that's fair enough. Queens can be quite vulnerable.
It is, but I think generally it's a hand I want to sort of, you know, in a sit and go, how many big hands are you going to get? It is a hand where perhaps I'm looking to get some play, hoping to win some chips with it. I'd like to sort of manoeuvre so I'm against, say, 1 person or maybe 2, but preferably 1 probably with queens, because I'm frightened of aces and kings coming on the flop.
Right.
But I do actually want to win money with it rather than the blinds. I feel disappointed in a sit and go if I've only won the blinds with it.
Yeah, that's fair.
So,
it seems like a wasted opportunity, doesn't it?
A little bit. So I don't think I'd have over-raised it like he did. I perhaps would have done a smaller raise. But sometimes in these, even on the early stage in the smaller raise, they pass through sometimes. But I'd have tried... I wouldn't have done the very big raise with it, I don't think.
Okay, I wonder if he was thinking, as you were saying.
Yes, I think possibly that was in his mind. He thought maybe if I overbetted to think I haven't got much, he was trying to sort of play a mind game with them. And if he was, well, fair enough. Maybe it was worth a try. Look, I'm Losing there. Again, we've got this big raise here. He's got the pair of 10s, and he's made it 5 times the big blind. The problem with this is, are you going to get someone to really call that with a bad hand? Or are you only going to walk into a good hand who calls you?
Yeah.
Now, the more that you make that the balance becomes incorrect. Because you don't just want to be playing that hand when you're up against good hands. You want to give some of the bad hands an opportunity to fight you.
Okay.
So you don't want to frighten them off particularly. So in late position as he was there, again, I think it was slightly too big a raise. You shouldn't be too frightened of playing that hand. He also had chips, so he has got the capability of playing.
Right. If it got too dangerous, he could walk away.
The other thing is the blinds at this moment are not interesting enough to steal.
Yeah, that's true. Really aren't picking up much at all if you're just taking the blinds. And if you are trying to be building chip stack, that's just not the best way to do it, I
Not at the
suppose.
moment. Later on in the game, of course, then as the blinds go up, then more times than not we'll be just as happy to take the blinds down as to continue the pot. Now that's a different part of the game. So we have to notice what stage of the game we're in.
Very important advice. Do you think that a lot of
one
beginner
more thing on that,
Yeah.
because the guy was the guy who had one of the guys who has chips, it was look I'm losing. Because he's got more chips, he doesn't have to be so protective.
Right.
He can actually put in the smaller raise with the tens, because as he's got more chips, as we've said before, the more chips you've got, the less value each individual chip has.
Right.
It's when you've got less chip that each chip becomes worth more because they're so meaningful to you. So with him, he doesn't have to sort of protect his chips as much.
Yeah.
So in fact, that's the other reason why it's wrong, because of his chip situation. If he had a lot less chips, in fact, if we exaggerated, it might be best for him just to push it all in with it, or whatever. But in his case there, he could have actually put in, say, he could just put in a smaller raise there and got a little bit of action with it.
Okay. So it's not chips in terms
Late position and having a lot of chips.
Yeah.
You could actually say, come on, let's play.
Yeah, so it's chips in terms of percentage of your stack, not in terms of number of big blinds
Yes,
or
that's-
that sort of thing.
Well, that's all, it's the same thing.
But at this point, it's more...
Yes, but I mean, that's just the way to realise
Yeah,
how many chips you've got, is to see how many big blinds you've got or how many rounds of play you've got. That indicates what size stack you've got.
True.
So, and the bigger the number when you divide it, the bigger it is, then, you know, the more play you've got, the more you can vary your play. Oh, we've got a big hand here. Let's see how he plays this. Again, he wants to get... He's got chips here. He doesn't have to frighten people out here. There's 60 in the middle. Maximum raise I'd do would be 3 times the big blind.
Yeah.
Nothing bigger. I might even just put in 100. Now, again, too big.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Why...
It just scared everyone off immediately.
You've won 60 with this pair of kings, and he's got a lot of chips. Can't be right. He has to try and get some action with that hand. Is he going to... Let's watch the Dreamer. Will he ever... Maybe that's a huge favour to be the best hand he has all night.
Yeah, that's a good point. What if that is his best hand?
And he won 60 with it. You can't be happy with that.
No. No, you're right. So maybe 3 times a big blind at the most.
Yeah. Maybe 2.5 times a big blind.
Yeah.
Make it 100 and say, come on, tempt someone in there. They might think it's a smelly bet, but you might get one person who says, OK, maybe the big blind will make up his blind or whatever.
That's true. If you keep it close enough to the big blind, then by making up the bet, they're not actually committing much more.
And
than
they're getting some odds, so they'll have a look at it.
Yeah.
Because if you've made it 100, for example, and there's 60 in the middle already, so therefore that would make 160 in the middle. The big blind would already be in for 40, and would only have to add 60. So therefore, when the big blind looks at it, they would be getting 60 into 160, which would be 2 3/4 to 1 they'd be getting.
Yeah. It's worth seeing.
Yeah. So they'd be getting just, you know, 2 3/4 to 1 their money. They'd be going, But the kings has got a good chance to be at least that size favourite, and obviously more if you've got pairs. Well, OK, the kings, if you want to give them slightly worse odds, you could make it 110 or 120, so 3 times the big blind would be fine. But again, if you make it 120, there'd be 60 in the middle for the blinds, 120 from the raiser, which would make 180. The big blind would be on 40, and would have to add 80. They'd still be getting just over 2 to 1 their money then.
Yep.
But the chances are that they'd be worse than 2 to 1.
So if he continues to make really large bets whenever he goes into a pot, if he ever does make a smaller bet, say 2 times a big blind instead of 4 times, people might start smelling that as an...
Oh, right, we've just got a big hand here. He's actually read this well. Sorry, Clara, just break into the thing. We've got the big bet from Andy Pyle with the 7s, but the 9s, he's come over the top there, believed he's winning. They've both got full houses. The Dreamer read this one very well, so full marks here. He's just won a big pot there, and he's now really charged on. He's now got very close to 5,000 chips.
Wow.
So well done there, and he's knocked another player out. So his equity's increased because the player is gone, and his equity's increased because he's got more chips. It's looking sweet for the Dreamer at the moment. But he's closely followed by Look I'm Losing, and El Pig's got 3,000 as well. Anyway, well played there, Dreamy. You read your situation well.
Definitely. Going all in with a pair of sevens, I think.
I'll tell you what, we were talking then, I didn't quite see how many chips he had there,
yeah.
so I can't quite comment on that.
Yeah. Huh.
It would depend on how much play he had.
Yeah.
Chugin here. Okay. Now, you say, oh, well, that's a bigger bet. It is. In a way, he doesn't want to have two opponents with sevens.
Yeah.
Because he'd be frightened of so many overcards. So it's got every reason, if he's going to play the pair aggressively, then he should make it aggressive enough to thin the field.
And Look I'm Losing has re-raised him.
Yep. That's a good re-raise from Look I'm Losing. He's losing at the moment himself, because the pair of sevens was favoured over Ace-King.
Yeah.
But he's got the power of the re-raise, and he got him to put the best hand down. So that was good play from Look I'm Losing, and he used his chips well. That is good use of the chips. Now, I'm happy with that raise. Ace-Queen, it's not in the same land as the King-King. That's fair enough, I don't mind.
Yeah.
Chugin just calls with King-Jack. Okay, if he gets away with it, because he'll have position. And he has got away with it, and he has got position, but El Pig has got the top pair. Now, is he going to check it and look for a check raise? Because he doesn't believe anyone else has got an ace, because it was an unraised pot, or is he just going to bet out? He's just decided to bet out, probably because of the spades on the flop.
Yeah, well, Chugin's got a straight draw and a flush draw. That's a...
Yeah, and he wants to charge some of the flush draw, and that's why he did it, and it's worked well. Chugin had the flush draw, and he paid to try and hit the card. Now, El Pig's checked there this time. And that actually tempted Chugin to bet at him, so I hope El Pig isn't going to be frightened by that. I don't think he will be. Let's see what his reaction is. Oh my goodness.
Wow. I wonder what he put Chugin on.
That's a good question, Kara. That is great. Tell you what, I'm very pleased. Oh, we've got a little bit of a jitter on the top card there. He was nervous. That was a great question. I'm really pleased you asked that. Now, that shows that's a real step forward there. It's a perfect question. The perfect question. I wonder what he thought he had.
Yeah.
Exactly. I wonder what he did think he had.
Yeah. From that flop,
Very strange. It's just that I think what he's got to think is, I think he's bet just because I've suddenly checked.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe he's got the ace. He didn't re-raise pre-flop. If he's got an ace, it might be an ace even with a smaller kicker than my 9 even.
Yep.
Okay, he could have two pair, but he didn't bet enough. It's like a sort of, I think he had to, unless he was just worried what he was going to do next. He might be thinking, oh, I just don't think I can face the next bet after that.
Maybe that was it, yeah.
But I think what we saw there was, his problem was, in that situation, with the draw cards on the flop, I think he should have bet himself on the turn.
Right, so aggressiveness would have probably paid off
And
there.
I don't think Chugin would have done a raise or anything there, and I think either he'd have just called or he might have even passed because he wasn't getting good enough odds to hit the flush. So I think El Pig actually created his own problem.
Right. When your first act after the flop comes down and you've raised before the flop, do you always...
Well, no, there was no raise before the flop here,
okay.
but El Pig bet on the flop,
Yep.
He'd hit the top pair, and then he checked in first position on the turn.
Yeah.
Well, he'd bet on the flop with his ace because I said, I wonder if he's going to go for a check raise here, or if he's going to bet because of the flush draw. He bet because of the flush draw out there. No flush came on the turn, and then he checked. Well, how strange. He should have actually bet again there to charge someone on the flush draw because it was likely that's the sort of hand maybe they were calling with.
Yeah.
And when he didn't, he left the door open for his opponent to bet, and then it gave him the room to make a mistake. And in the end, of course, he made a blunder because he passed what was clearly the best hand.
Yeah.
And that's not a mistake, that's a huge error. So, but he created himself by not continuing the betting.
Right. Right.
But full marks to Kara there for saying, highlighting it and saying, what on earth what was he thinking he had there?
Excuse me.
And that is what we should be thinking all the time.
Yeah, I find it difficult, I have to say, to think about it while I'm playing. It's easier for me to watch other people playing and think about it, but it's something I'm working on.
Right, but you've just got to make yourself do that.
Yeah.
You've got to really
concentrate.
Try to get into tune, especially when you're in... But you want to try it when you're not in the hands with them as well, because if you say it's easier to do it when you're not involved, well, no excuse then. When you're playing the game, do it while you're watching that game you're in. Now you've got the added bonus that this is going to be useful to you. Raise and just took the blinds out. It's going to be useful to you because you're going to be playing against these opponents.
Yeah.
So learn what they're doing. Try and guess what they've got. Try and guess what their style is. It's how useful is it? You're now going to be playing a hand against these same people, and you've already tried to get into their minds.
Yeah.
So that's what you should be doing. So you've got to work in poker. I think it's too easy, especially on the internet, for people to become very lazy.
Yeah.
They're busy writing emails, watching telly,
chatting in the chat box,
listening to music,
or
whatever.
Yeah, not concentrating, not giving your full
watching
attention.
A rerun of Johnny Chan rubbing his elbow against you for 5 seconds. And what other distractions that causes.
Yeah.
And I don't think we always concentrate on the game enough.
I think you're right. I think I'm as guilty or more so of that than anybody, personally. I know I am.
You recognise that character?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I get very engrossed in the social... Yeah, I get too engrossed in the social aspect of the game.
Okay.
That's definitely my problem. And Johnny Chan did tell me if I ever get a chance to win 10 World Series of Poker bracelets, he'll buy me a diamond watch.
Wow.
So I need to start concentrating. I'm in a race with Nick. We're going to see who can do it first. Yeah, right.
Does only one of you get the watch?
Oh, yeah.
All right, just the first one who gets the 10 bracelets?
Yep. So we're both going to start this summer. I think it might be, 3024, the year of, before either of us gets there.
What about Big Brother? Are you watching that?
You know what? I haven't been home enough really to watch a lot of television lately. And when I am home, I seem to be curling up in my sickbed under my duvet.
Right. So you haven't looked at all yet?
No, I haven't.
Wow.
Although a friend of mine, a friend of hers is the producer of the show, and she was telling me off for not watching it. I have not gotten involved, I have to say. It's probably great telly to sit while you have the flu with a cup of Lemsip, but I haven't managed even to turn the telly on.
Okay, look, I'm losing. Well paid there with the threes. Well, the Dreamer's still our chip leader. And we're on 40-80, so still a lot of play in this tournament. Chugin's got the second pair, and he's bet out 160, but Look, I'm Losing's got the top pair, only with an 8 kicker, but he doesn't believe, and he's put in a re-raise, so he's asked the question. He wants to find out exactly where he is. And he's got enough chips to do this. Oh, my goodness, but Chugin... Oh, and he's... Wow, and Look, I'm Losing didn't believe him. Incredible. Incredible read from Look, I'm Losing there, because he's got Queen with a poor kicker.
Oh, no.
That's amazing. Chugin tried the re-raise there with only the second pair, and Look, I'm Losing wasn't putting his hand down.
No.
Well, amazing play we saw there. Very brave.
Oof, I'll say. Well, it paid off for Look, I'm Losing. Wow.
Yeah. The Dreamer. Look, I'm Losing pass, and El Pig very happy just to pick up the blinds. No contention.
I know that I think El Pig is playing in our multi-table tournament as well at the moment, so he's multi-tabling, and a lot of our regulars are also in the multi-table, so when we take a look at that, hopefully we'll see some familiar names on the final table. I suppose that's one way of keeping your concentration, is playing a number of different tables, because then even if you're spreading your concentration over different tables, at least it's all poker.
Funny enough, I was actually, just before the show, I was talking to one of my guys in the gallery, Matt, and I was saying to him that actually he was saying about he wants to start playing some small money games. And I said to him, actually, I said, I think you should start off playing full ring games, playing it very selectively, but I said, I think you should play more than one table. And he went, oh, you just want me to play more. I said, no, I don't. I said, because I think playing one table selectively, you could get bored and overplay your hands. I said, but if you've got two tables, one thing is that if you get unlucky on one table, you might be lucky on the other one. You won't feel under pressure so much because it'll balance out your fluctuations a little bit. The other thing is it'll stop you getting bored and impatient, and it'll probably raise your standard of play, and you can easily handle two tables of a full table there. And but I think actually it'll make it easier for you to play by keeping you amused and keeping you concentrating on both games.
Definitely. I think you've given me the same advice, and I know Nick Wellful as well has told me when you start to play cash games, Kerry, you're going to have to play more than one, or play it with a tournament on the side, because you're going to get bored and you're not going to play well.
And then you overplay certain hands.
Yeah, that is something to bear in mind when you're starting to play cash games, I suppose.
Well, Look, I'm Losing is really using the raise button tonight, which is very good poker. He's just asked a question again, 3 times the big blind.
Wow.
And he's taken that down. He's using his chip stack well. So we've got the rich and the poor here. We've got Look, I'm Losing and the Dreamer both in the 5 grand club. And Fishing for Chips and El Pig in the 2 grand club.
Yeah, and we're on the bubble as well, so there's a bit more pressure on El Pig and Fishing for Chips. Yeah, it's interesting because some of the other commentators keep saying to me, what do you hate in an opponent? And I do hate it when people re-raise me. I find that incredibly irritating. And they say, well, then maybe you should take that because most people do. Be aggressive. If you're aggressive...
That's a good question.
Then, yeah, I kind of thought it was. I suppose people out there as well, what would be the one thing?
That's quite nice.
I think it was Nick, actually.
What do you actually hate them doing? Yeah, that's good. I like that.
What do you hate in an opponent? And then maybe try to do it yourself.
Yeah.
Really upset people. I love these new longer blind structures as well.
Yeah, it is. It gives you much more play.
Yep.
It's good to watch.
It's fantastic.
I mentioned it to Mark last night. I'll give it a little because someone actually mentioned it again. That they're really picking on the Geordie, you know, on Big Brother, because they've got a Geordie who does some of the reading out, etc., etc. And they give him phone numbers to read out and everything. But they always pick the rotten numbers, like 08 08 72 88 008. It's not fair. I mean, I think they're just making these numbers up. They're really giving them a hard time.
Oh, that's awful. That's awful. I've heard that, actually, and I've kind of wondered if he's not putting it on a little more than he has to, because that's an extreme accent. That's really extreme. Oh, well, you're never going to mistake him for someone else, are you?
No, definitely not.
Wow. Huh.
The Dreamer, King 5. Well, if he checks, what's Look, I'm Losing going to be doing? That's what we've got to watch for here.
Excuse me. You have to forgive me for coughing and sneezing my way through the show tonight. I'm a bit under the weather.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I will try to keep my germs on this side of the table, though, I promise. No elbow rubbing, though. I can't be held responsible.
Yeah, giving someone the elbow could take a whole new meaning.
This is true. Ooh, Ace King for Look, I'm Losing. Wonder if he'll manage to find any sort of play, considering he's on the small blind there. Ooh. What would you do there with Ace King if someone's raised that much? They've raised 960.
Well, the thing is, I think, again, he's just using his chip stack there, and I really think he's got some fold equity with the Ace King.
Yeah.
It's only... Okay, he doesn't want aces or kings. The kings even, he's got sort of 28% or whatever to beat. Everything else he's either going to be pretty close to or a good favourite if he's dominating him. And I think he played perfectly there, using his chip stack.
Wow.
And
Okay.
Because what he had to think was, have I got any fold equity here? Is there any chance this guy will pass? I think there's still a chance the guy would pass, and because of that, it was a great play.
Okay. What if it was king queen?
Look, I'm losing. I wouldn't do the play at all, no.
No, okay.
Not at all.
Because king queen rules in the land of the unraised pot.
It wouldn't like it, because it's like to be against the hand that's behind anyway, and could be horribly behind. No, not at all.
Okay.
Only because he had the ace-king. The ace-king is a hand which is a great betting and raising hand, far better than a calling hand.
Okay.
Once it has to be there, the reason is it's an underdog even against a pair of twos, but it's not in bad shape against most hands, which makes it a great raising or re-raising hand, because you capture all the fold equity. That's when they pass. You capture all that fold equity. But if the guy is brave enough to call, you're never in too bad a shape, unless you've walked into aces, which is a nightmare, and kings, which isn't good. But apart from that, even a pair of queens, you know, you're still 45% or whatever to win. So it's never in too bad a shape. And of course, when you're against the ace-queen or the ace-jacks, you're dominating. You're a 73% favourite, which is very, very nice.
That is very good.
And if you're against two lower cards, Jack-10, then you're about a 64% favourite. So there's lots of situations where you're a good favourite, but you have the power now to say, well, there's not too much bad out there for me, re-raise. And you give your opponent the problem. You give them the chance to make the mistake. And it's a great hand to use as a weapon, as an attacking hand.
So L-Pig was unlucky to walk into that one.
But if you haven't got so many chips and someone's raised to you, it's not a great calling hand. Often it'd be better to wait and have a betting hand later rather than call, because you have to just win the hand on merit. And if you're underdog, you're underdog. Whereas the very next hand, you might be able to raise all in with, say, anything, with Jack-Queen. There could be 40% chance that your opponent will pass. And then, that's 40% time you'll win with that random hand. Now we've got the other 60%. Maybe you win 20% of that. So altogether, the whole package, you'll win 60% of the time. So in a case, you'd be in a favourable situation, either by them passing or by you winning a hand, even when you're underdog. So that's why the betting is powerful. And that's why ace-king, of course, is even better than doing it with random cards, because on average it'll have a reasonable chance even when it ends up in a showdown. Oh,
poor L-Pig. Ace-Jack he had there. He just went out to two pair, and the Dreamer had two pair.
Right.
Ouch.
Okay, it's last three, they're all in the money. And so far I've been very impressed with the guy with the chips. They've Look, I'm Losing especially, been doing some very good bets. Fishing for chips there. Yes, I agree with that. He's got no time left. He's pushed it all in. I would do the same myself. And I think that the Dreamer's got a call. He does do. And he's done it correctly. He's hit the 6. He's favourite. He's still alive. It's looking bleak for Fishing. And it is bleak for him. And it's the Dreamer just with a 6. Pair of 6s wins it. So we're heads up there. Now it is Fishing for chips. He did the right thing. He had King 10. He was favourite against the Jack 6 of hearts. He pushed it all in. He asked the question. The Dreamer had enough money in the pot that he couldn't pass it. He had 640 in the pot already. He couldn't pass. He was correct mathematically to call. And he did so and got lucky and hit the 6. So now we're heads up. And let's see this battle commence.
Let the battle commence.
And wow, very aggressive with a poor hand there.
Boy.
He's done a flat raise with 4-7 of clubs. So the Dreamer doesn't believe it, and that's a great move by the Dreamer. Thinks, look, I'm losing. That was a weedy little raise. You're just trying it on me. And he asked him the big question. Great play, and that's good play. I mentioned you could afford to put that down. I mentioned last night in the multi-table tournament, especially when there's more play, the small blind in this game is out of position. Normally the small blind should be on the big blind, but it's out of position. So therefore one can actually pass more small blinds than normal, especially in the multi-table tournament, because once you make it up, you're out of position. In the sit and go, it varies. Often you have to be more aggressive. Anyway, it's up and down straight for the Dreamer. He's got his chips in, 7, 8, 9, 10. Look, I'm losing's got the 7, however. But there's this Jack. 7, 8, 9, 10, Jack.
Oh.
Hits the straight, and the Dreamer takes first prize. But I'd like to say well done to Look, I'm losing. Well done to the Dreamer. I think you both played, on the whole, very, very well indeed. And you both used your chips well. I was pretty impressed. And here's our graph to show us our chip movement graph. Whoa!
Wow.
It looks like nothing I've ever seen before.
No. Huh. Kind of looks like a Volvo.
Okay, they actually found their chips. Why is that so unusual is they actually had, we saw this massive rise early on because they both found chips very early in the tournament.
Yeah.
One of them got a full house against Trips, which we missed, but doubled up immediately, and I'm not sure how the other guy got his chips, but they both found chips early. That's why we see this amazing rise at the beginning, and then it flattened out, and then carried on the normal game. So it was a slightly more unusual chip shape graph than normal.
Yeah, it was a bit boxy. It was a little different than usual.
Yep.
Interesting. Well, that was some great heads-up play as well. Not as long as I would have liked to have seen. I think I need.
No, because there's not enough play, as I said. When in a sit and go, the heads up, there's not enough play, but there was good aggression, and in a sit and go, the heads up just basically has to be a lot of aggression.
Yeah, we'll see in the multi-table. I'll take some notes then on heads up play.
Yes.
Yes. Right, for now we do have a couple of emails. Let's go to that. This one is from Michael. And Michael says, "Hi James and Kara, love the show. Just wondering if you could give me some advice about stealing blinds in the latter part of the tournament. When the blinds are high and it really becomes all-in poker, I'm beginning to think that the correct play is to move with weak hands such as 6, 7, 8, 5, etc. As well, obviously, as with the premium hands, as opposed to premium hands and marginal hands, for example, Ace 9, King 10, as you're only going to get called with hands that are dominating you, example, Ace King. This is all assuming that you aren't short-stacked and that you move on the correct blinds. What are your views on this? Thanks to all the Poker Night Live crew for bringing us fantastic entertainment." Well, you're welcome from all of us here. What do you think about that, stealing blinds?
Right, in the latter stage of a tournament, when it reaches a stage where you basically need to be stealing blinds, the blinds are very big. Basically, it's not so much about your hands, it's often about position. And it's often about you evaluating your chances of getting people to be able to put hands down. So how do we do this? Well, maybe you're in late position, so now you should already have been monitoring the style of your players. So let's have a look at the guys on the blinds, because these are the guys. The guy in the big blind is the guy probably he's easier for him to call because he's already got money in the pot. So what type of player is he? Is he very solid? Is he very tight? Does he not normally call raises? Have you been watching him? Or does he call every raise? So this is what you've got to look for. The small blind, check him out as well. So basically, you're looking for this. If you're in a live game, what you should always be doing is just casting out the side of your eye and look to see if anybody's just ready to sort of dump their cards. Sometimes they get impatient and they more or less hold them, waiting to chuck them in the middle. Look for any clues. So it's often, pinching blinds is a matter of situational play. You say about, yes, I don't mind you doing it with some of the lesser hands there, but if you're going to end heads up, big cards will still rule. So therefore, the chances are the guy in the blind isn't sitting there with Ace King or Ace Queen, etc., etc. So therefore, your Ace 9 is a fine hand because he might be calling you with King Jack or whatever he wants to call you with if he's a big caller. So therefore, your Ace will be making you favourite. So big cards will rule if you end in a heads-up situation. However, if you think the time is right, or if when I'm playing I think the time is right, I am not so bothered about the cards. And yes, I might actually put it in with suited connectors, which if you get unlucky enough to come up against a big hand, if you walk into the nightmare, the pair of aces, then actually suited connectors like 6, 7 will actually play better than a lot of hands. It'll play better than some pairs will against the big American Airlines. So part of what you're thinking is correct.
Okay, well there you go. Hopefully that helped you out and that answered exactly what you wanted to know. Now we're going to save some of the other emails before the break. For now, talking about the MTT, well, let's go take a look at it.
Good idea. we'll give you an update, and there's been decimation of the players now. There's only 36 runners left. And we started off with 105. So the average chip stack now is 4,256. So we'll look here. We've got Snap It there, who's well chipped up. He's got double stack, double the average.
Very good player, our Mr. Snap It.
Well, I think he's continues to get better and better, actually, because I've noticed he's added more strings to his bow. He's a solid player, which is good. He gets respect at the table, which
Certainly
is
does,
good.
yeah.
But then we also see that he is capable now of making some more plays. Also, since I've been watching him on here, I have noticed him. He's had his times when he's experimented. He's tried some different styles. But of late, I've noticed he's been doing pretty well, or he looks to be been doing pretty well in the cash games. His cash game, I think, has improved a lot. I think his general tournament plays improved as well. I think he's just continuing to improve. So, well done, Ken Snap It. Definitely, your graph is going in the right direction as far as I'm concerned. And I'm only hoping that part of it is down to you watching Poker Night Live.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Ken Snap It as well on the other night.
Oh, brilliant. I mean, I'd have loved to have been there. I did send my apologies with Nick. I was taking part in a tournament at the Western Club.
Yes, of course.
So, otherwise, I'd have loved to have met all the guys and gals.
It was absolutely fantastic. I have to say, it was, yeah, definitely a highlight. It was nice to meet Mr. Snap It himself and, you know, just put faces to names and
Yeah, that is fun,
shake
isn't it?
hands and rub elbows with some of them. And yeah, it was good fun. And a lovely bunch they are.
So when will we be, any news of when we're going to be showing the Poker Bowl?
I'm not entirely sure how long it'll take them to put it all together. It'll be probably a little while, a couple of weeks maybe.
So we must keep it secret.
Yes, our hard-working team, we're hard at the editing process, making everyone look as wonderful as I'm sure they were on the day. But yeah, it was lovely having people come all the way from as far away as North Wales, and some people came from Northern England as well, come down to the Gut Shot just to cheer on the finalists in the Poker Bowl and play a bit of poker.
Here we go, we had a look at another table here. We've left Ken Snap It, and we're... Notice this table, they don't have quite as many chips here. There's El Pig, who said he was playing both tournaments. And he's struggling a bit there, he's only got 420. The blinds are 100, 200, so... Wow, he's really let himself get low here. I don't know how he got to that state, but it looks like he should have made a move before now, but maybe he just lost one pot, which left him with that awkward amount. And a strange limp with King 7 under the gun. So maybe this has been a passive table or something. Oh, it's not a limp, he's actually in a flat raise, beg your pardon. Okay. Well, if you get away with it, well done.
Well, he made the Queen Jack fold.
And Rackman there, he hasn't got many more chips. He's just decided to call with his 8-8. I'm just wondering if, with that many chips, it's not the hand I'd be longing to call with. If I was to play it, maybe I have to sort of really try and just take the pot down with it. Because it's not a great drawing hand.
Yeah, so maybe he should have re-raised there.
Possibly, or not played at all.
Right.
Because I don't think he had that many chips to sort of try fishing with a strange hand. Because it was coming up to his button. It would have been better for him to use his chips, I think, with... now he's actually got out the pot. Oh. Because he didn't feel confident enough, and the ace comes down. And now he's left his chips behind, and actually someone else has won with the ace-8. Okay, a little bit of strange play there. So, not mad keen on the flat raise by Nikaga with the King 7. But he has got quite a lot of chips, so I don't mind it too much. Maybe he's just trying to dominate the table. But what I don't like is I think Rackman didn't really have enough chips to start limping or just calling with a strange hand. and I'd have preferred to him either to have passed or to have been aggressive to try and take the pot down there and then, to make it into a bit of a move if he thought his ace was good enough. Here we've got Nikaga or Nikaga. How are you going to call it, Kara?
I don't know. Yeah, we could say Nick, I suppose.
Oh, yeah, that'd be easier. And Nikaga, or Nick, has got the top pair there, the kings.
Yeah, and that's how the MTT stands at the moment. Obviously, we'll be coming back to look at it again through the night and showing you the final table.
Kara, I've suddenly got a few sniffles. I think.
I'm trying to keep my germs on this side, I swear.
I can feel it. Is it happening? It might be just sort of psychosomatic or whatever.
Maybe it's just sympathy flu.
It could be, yeah. I could be trying to suck it out of you. To sort of...
Ew!
No, not that, not literally.
Yuck! I'm going to have a Lemsip. I think that should work.
Okay.
Yeah. And read an email. I've got one here from Bryboy99. It says, "Hi, James and Kara. The show is always incredibly interesting when you two are on. What with James and his expertise and Kara's vivaciousness. Even with the snotty sniffles. Vivacious. I wouldn't put me on that. This weekend I've been playing on various poker sites, but one in particular really gets my head spinning. It seems all the people that play on it are complete maniacs. They obviously don't watch Poker Night Live, that's for sure. When I raise with a good hand, say 2, 3, or maybe 4 times the big blind, none of them fold. They all match my bet, and then I'll wait for the down cards, so playing just becomes a complete lottery. Even when I go all in, at least 3 or 4 of the other players call it and just sit back and wait for their fate. I'd be interested in what you guys have to say about this. Thanks for the great show." You know what? When I play on some of the other sites as well, I've noticed this, that it can really kind of mess with your head as a player when people are just calling everything you do, and it becomes a lottery that maybe they hit something magical on the flop. And I know that the commentators always say, just play your normal game, like, you know, have as good a standard of play as you would on a table that's very tight. Just watch what they're doing and let them pay you off for being so wild.
Right. I think the thing to say is listen, you've got to adapt to the land you're in. I.e., when in Rome, do as the Romans do. So now at this game here, you've just said you were raising 2 to 3 times the big blind, or maybe 4 times, and what was happening, they were still all calling. So therefore, you're checking out what the rate of exchange is. I called this the other night. I just created this one. It was the rate of... Check out the rate of exchange is what I say.
I like it.
This is my new little phrase. So you check out what the rate of exchange is. You've tried 4 times a big blind. Doesn't do anything. Doesn't thin the field. So what we do is... The rate of exchange at this table is obviously... And now we try something else. So we try 6 times a big blind. 8 times a big blind. There's got to be a rate of exchange somewhere which thins the field. You can be doing this with great hands. This is amazing for you. Now with your best hand, you're still going to get opposition when you've got your best hand, and you've made this pot expensive when you've got a great hand. You're going to end up winning a lot of money at this table. So just learn to adapt your play. Don't say, I always do 3 times a big blind. No. Say, what raise is suitable for this table? Check out the rate of exchange.
Would you consider limping in with marginal hands out of position at a table like that? Or calling raises if you've got, you know, so-so hands?
Would we limp in with a No, Kara, okay. No. Would we limp in? Think what you said.
Okay.
Limping in with a marginal hand out of position.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because normally I would never.
Would you?
No.
You'd be a bad girl.
Exactly.
We want position. You could limp in with marginal hands if you had position, but not out of position.
Okay. Even at a wild and crazy table.
But if it's a wild and crazy table, if they're just calling, you can call when you see a lot of people in there with suited connectors or whatever. If they're only calling, if they're raising as well, you don't want to get involved in it. You then just play very solid and get them to pay you off when you've got big hands. Okay.
Well, that's great advice. Hopefully I'll be taking that myself when we come back after the break and I'm doing the Beat the Presenter slot. I'll be keeping that all in mind. So don't go anywhere, because we're going to be back with the MTT, lots more commentary, and the Beat the Presenter. Everything's still here. See you soon. Hello and welcome back to Poker Night Live. We're still here in the studio with a few different games for you to watch tonight, and a bit of commentary on those as well to help you learn about poker. That's part of the specialness of this show, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I'm actually playing in a game at the moment, so I'm going to turn it over to you,
Okay.
if that's okay, and try to concentrate, as we were talking about, on my game.
I've got a little bit of information for you while Kara goes back to her game there. I've just got some news from the Western Club, and that's, of course, where Johnny Chan was taking part in their main event there, which was a £1,500 event. They're battling it out there still. This is the second day of the tournament. They're down to the last 11. Johnny Chan, unfortunately, has gone. He originally got wounded by Ian Dobson, who I think maybe you can remember a few years ago in the Ladbrokes Poker Million. That was when John Duffy won it. Ian Dobson, you'd have seen him there. Ian Dobson caught us straight on the river to severely wound Johnny Chan. And then after that, I think he had to push in with probably ace rag or something, and ended up walking into a pair, and the pair stood up. So that was the end of the great Johnny Chan, unfortunately. But as I said, they're down to 11 runners now. And the guy who actually finished Johnny Chan off, Luke Patton, I think he's joint chip leader at the moment. We've got Jeffrey Rogers. Javid Abraham's an interesting one. He went back today with only 9,000 chips. I think he's got it back up to 50,000. Willie Tan's there, but you know, I rate him very highly in tournament play, but I think he's short stacked at the minute. And Greek Fish is there as well, but again, he's a little bit short stacked. But there's a couple of guys there with about, I think Jules Adamson has got about 150,000. And so anyway, we'll be giving some more updates on that as we carry along with the show. Perhaps we'll find out who wins it. Now, anyway, to text us, it'll be coming up on the screen. It's 84222, 84222. Put in the word poker and your question. Or you can email us at poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. And of course, when the programme's not on, you can check out our web, which is www.pokernightlive.co.uk. And if your telly's not working, you can watch us on the web by clicking Watch Now. And you can have it in your little corner of the screen while you're playing poker. What could be better? Okay, let's have a look at the cash game. And it's a 25-cent, 50-cent cash game. Maximum buy-in $50, minimum buy-in $5. Well, Benzers has got ace-jack, which gives him the second pair, but Morrison there has got the business. He's got 8, 9, 10, jack, queen, and he's loving it. And he's raised there to 28. Seven's come, doesn't hurt him at all. You'd have been slightly worried if a spade had come in case Benz had made the flush. He bet 17, but couldn't get any more, but he was pleased with that, and he's gone up to 157,000, so very nice there. There's Johan Harron. He's just raised to $2, early position with ace-10 suited, just called by the ace-jack. A raise from Queen-10 from Benzers, called by Snap It with the pair of fives. Well, it's all happening here. It's action time. And the ace-10 is called. So we look there. Anyone got a king? Nope. Diamonds? No, one each. So actually, believe it or not, Snap It is actually winning with his pair of fives, but he can't realise this. There's 3 overcards on the flop, and Benzers has actually represented a hand with his Queen-10. And this will be difficult for Sod to call, and he can't call it. So Benzers, you used position there to the optimum. Fantastic. And he's followed this up with a raise with a pair of sixes. Definitely trying to bash his way back into business here, Benzers. Called by Andy Pyle with 10 jack. 3 clubs on the flop. Trip sixes for Benzers. Bets 150. Doesn't want to lose his opponent. Andy Pyle raises. Benzers waits no longer and puts in all his chips. Well, he's not going to get paid here. And he takes it down. Perhaps he could have just put in a slightly smaller raise, risked that flush draw. He is playing a money game. You've got more than one life. Maybe he could have given his opponent the wrong odds to call for a flush. That could have been the better money play to do. But never mind, he did well. He got some chips back. He's back to 50. Let's see what he does with his 5-10. Is he going to play every hand? No, he's not. He's decided that's calmed him down. He's won a couple of hands. I'm not a minger. He'd missed a big blind. That's why his 50 cents is in the middle already. That's prior to Snappet and Morrison making their decisions. When it comes to him, he does have the option to raise, however. So he could raise if he wanted to, but he doesn't. He just checks, which means he's going to see the flop. There's no raise from anyone else. Top card's a jack. No one's got it. Sod's got a 2. There's a queen there. No one's got the queen. Everyone's missing. Does Sod think he's winning? No, he doesn't. I'm not a minger's got position. Wow, now Sod could think his 2's winning now, but maybe he thinks he'll just win it on merit. But what will he do if I'm not a minger bets? Well, he doesn't, so he doesn't have to think about it. But Sod's got $209 there, and I think that I'm not a minger thought he wasn't going to be able to push him off that hand anyway. He thought the guy was too rich to be pushed around. And what are we waiting for? Okay. We've got a little bit of a freeze there just to set us on our toes. So let's have a little look through the matrix, see what else we can find. It's a shame that cash game was pretty lively there. Here we are. It's multi-table tournament time. And we're down to 20 runners now. And this is actually the big stack table. We can see Will Tomcat there with 18,000 and Lance Boy with 17,757. So the average chips now is 7,875. So we can see that 3 of our players have got above average and 2 of them here are below average. That's Balrog and Anfield James. I will, of course, be very biased towards James. It's only right. Oh, great play by James there. Raising with the 3-2 offsuit. It's difficult to be biased in this situation, Kara. And he's just killed himself. How unlucky. What a great hand you had, James. James, just because I said I was going to be biased towards you, you didn't need to test it. Oh, my goodness. OK, we've reshuffled the tables because that was lost a player there. And it's 14 runners left. My goodness. They're disappearing. Falling like dominoes. Okay, this is still a big stack table. The average now, of course, is 11,250. Woo! There's Naikaga with his King Jack and 16,000. There's Lance Boy, still with 17,757, doesn't seem to have moved. And Farce with Big Slick and 11,000. Now, Naikaga has bet with the King Jack 1,200 into a pot of 3,000, but Fast Bandit just called. If you're just going to call there, Fast, if you think he hasn't got much, maybe you ask the question. But otherwise, just calling with Ace King, I don't like it. I'd rather probably you'd have passed it. Well, okay, you've proved me wrong in this case because you've actually got lucky, but to play that as a drawing hand is not great. Don't think you were getting good odds to draw to it, but if you get paid now, well done. But you don't. Yes, you were drawing there to 6 outs, but you don't know it's 6 outs because if your opponent had ace 10, then of course your ace would be dead because the ace would give them 2 pairs. If the opponent had king 10, again you'd only be drawing to 3 outs. You thought you were drawing to 6, but you can't assume you're drawing to 6 outs there. That's a problem, because you don't know exactly what your opponent's got. And your opponent did represent that they did have a hand. So be careful with just calling there. If you think that your opponent's at it, why not ask them the question and pop in a raise and find out where you are? Or pass it all together. Lance boy, ace queen. Under the gun, he's raised, made it 1200. Black horse found a good slot to put all his money in, he felt. He thought he could perhaps capture the blinds. It would squeeze other people out of the pot. He knows he's going to end up against Lance boy. Oh, unfortunate. But no club in his hand either. And he 4 to a straight, 4 to a flush, and a pair of 9s. No good. Lance boy hit the queen, and bye-bye. But I don't blame you move there. You were very short-stacked. You saw the extra money in the pot, saw there was a chance to maybe bounce back into the game. So I think that was pretty good time to have a shot. Flat raise from BJ. Because it's a Sunday night, I presume that stands for blackjack. It raised up to 5,500. Tens against 9s. These 9s aren't doing too well on this table, and BJ goes to 11,600. There we go. 10s against 9s. No connection to flop. No need to. The 10s beats 9s. Fast bandit. Pair of 5s. Just calls. 8-9 for BJ. No, decides not to join in. And what we're going to see from Lance boy, he's got a lot of chips. Just calls from Lance boy. He could have actually asked a question there, I think. But just as well he didn't, of course, as we can see that Balrog has hit trip 2s. Is he going to be confident enough just to call this, try and win a big pot? Mind you, we see that Lance boy has actually hit his jack. Oh, he's decided to just push it all in. Oh, and he's got paid. Well done. You know you can. Oh, no! Just freeze that for a second. This is unbelievable. Can we go back to that? What a brutal, brutal outdraw this is. How horrible. Balrog's got trip 2s against a pair of jacks. On the turn comes a jack, which gives Lance boy 3 jacks, but it gives Balrog a full house. And on the river, another jack. 4 jacks. Balrog is just... He's kicked his computer out the window. It's a goner. Balrog. That is shocking. Unbelievable. I'm glad that doesn't happen to Kara when she's playing, because I could be in serious danger. She had a full house beaten by 4 of a kind. Oof. The coffee cup would be flying across the room.
It would be. It'd be quite dangerous, wouldn't it? I've got a great arm on me as well.
Yeah. Watch out, flying saucers. Oh, don't do it to Kara, please don't. Oh. She could accidentally revert back to kickboxing mode. Well, I don't think Balrog... I hope Balrog's not watching. There's a pair of 2s in the flop.
He is. He just said the computer, the cat, the budgies, and his wife all went out the window.
Oh, they did. Yeah. I knew. I could sense. I felt they did. I knew. I could just. I could hear it.
Oh, it's funny.
Who went out first?
Hopefully it wasn't his wife.
Well, he'll probably tell you. Poor Budgie as well, eh?
Oh, I know.
That was brutal, Balrog. Absolutely brutal. Dear me, what a nightmare.
Yeah, Balrog says he was pretty sore about that, to say the least.
Yep, I don't
bet he
blame
was.
him. Just checking here, Balrog. I thought this might make you feel better. Just approximately, I think you were 96.4%, 0.46 favourite on the flop.
Ouch. Oh, that's awful.
Just, roughly, I just had a quick look there. Yes. There's Fast Bandit, made it 1800, 3 times the big blind with ace 10. Ooh, baby! It's got 5-8. Doesn't decide to play. And pair of queens for BJM. And flat raise. I'm happy with that. I was talking earlier in the show with Kara saying that in some of these tournaments you get only a certain amount of big hands. I might have actually... It's okay. I might have actually put it just a tad bigger because the queens, I'm slightly worried of 2 overcards. But if I can get one opponent, it's a dream, and there'll be operation success. Okay, and this is the queens here against the 8s. It's got the dream situation, got a chance maybe to win some chips. Now, I think Naikaga could actually be a bit suspicious about this bet. Yes, I thought it might be, because he thought, have you really hit a jack here? But of course, we know that BGM's got the overpair, the queens. And yes, BGM's not going to muck around now. Now I think, oh, Naikaga, I think, could have actually put it down, but, oh, another big outdraw. Has made a bad call there. Naikaga should have put that down with a pair of 8s. He asked a question, was given the answer, didn't listen to the answer. Ping! On the turn comes the 8. Oof. It's another BJM. Your computer's at risk as well. We're gonna be losing computers left, right, and centre tonight. The RSPCA are going to be worried about the budgie world too. Okay. We're moving around again. This time, it's to a sit and go. This is a $20 sit and go, and we're down to 5 players, but we're only in the 3rd level. So, lots of early accidents, which has not been the style of late in PNL. I'm not going to give away the game, but I think we've still got a full complement of players in Kara's game. It's strange in poker because Kara's cold seems to go away when she wins hands.
It does, doesn't it? All of a sudden I feel so much better.
But if she loses the hand, it's all sniffles. Right, Q-Jack. Lucy Goosey's asked the question. 8-6. Oh, and flopped a straight. What is going on here? And look, there's another one. Oh my goodness. Flopped a straight. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But there was already a straight there. 7, 8, 9, 10 jack for bullets. Unbelievable. Straight against straight. What are we seeing here? Woo! Hard to believe. 6, 7 kings of flop. Goodness, only one person hit it with the bottom pair. And bets 160 into a pot of 400. Bullets. Would have wished he had the bullets, but he hasn't. He had one bullet, which was not enough. And it's a raise from Andy there, up to 240. And another raise from Andy, made this 160. And it's 10-8 against 10-Jack, but Andy's got position. Ah, but Yoaliga boy, he has missed completely, but he's represented. And he probably thought that Andy was putting in too many raises there. Thought, listen, there's a good chance you've got nothing. I'll just try and preempt your action and put in the bet first. Now, here's a real hand here now for Dean. He's got ace-queen, and he's put a chunky raise in there. I think that's fine this time because he's got a bit of extra money in the pot. Andy limped in there, so he could pick up 200, which was very nice. So I agree with that. That was good. Take that money down without any risk. Fine. Bullets, 10-7. Has made up the small blind, and he's reasonably happy to see that he's hit the second pair, but he hasn't got a heart in his hand. But he's bet 160. He's bet the pot size. There was 160 in the middle, and he bet 160, and that got rid of Andy. 10-3 looks pretty yucky, and 4-8. What's Andy Pyle? No, he says, leave that one. I've played enough hands, I'll have a rest. Bullets has got Big Slick under the gun. There's 4 players left. There's only 3 prizes here. Remember, they don't want to be the bubble boy or girl. How was the bubble last night?
Ouch. I hate that. That's just, yeah.
Ran into kings.
Yeah, not fun.
Never enjoyable, the bubble.
No, it really isn't.
You've used your maximum amount of time not to get anything. Is what it is. Yo, Alec boy, got the queens. And raised and took the money. Yo, Alec boy, 5,900. So again, we've got this similar shape to what we had in the tournament before. We've got 2 guys there with over the 5,000 and 2 guys hovering around 2,000. So we've seen this pattern before. And the last time we saw it, the 2 chip leaders were pretty aggressive and starved the smaller stacks of their chips. Cut off their oxygen. Stood on their windpipe. Or their oxygen pipe. Kara, I've never seen a chat box so full.
I know. I am concentrating now.
Oh, right, good.
I promise.
I've just seen, I've never seen so much. It's all blue typing. It's unbelievable.
I do like the social aspect, I have to say. It's a lot of reminiscing about the Friday night when everyone got together and was playing and whatnot. It's nice.
It is nice, okay. Flush draw here for Andy Pyle. Queens for Andy Pyle. Makes it 320. The blinds are now 8160. He's done a flat raise with the queens. Bullets gives him respect, and the battle continues. As well as chatting to Kara on the chat box there, don't forget to send us some emails in. We love to hear from you. Email us with your questions.
I know some of our regular viewers up in Newcastle are requesting some sort of Poker Night Live night with you up in Newcastle.
Aha.
Yeah, seems to be on their minds tonight.
Okay. Who was requesting that? Was that Hoik or?
That is Geordie 2222. Oh no, just 222. There we go.
2 2 2 2.
2 to 2 2.
Not Geordie. You just imagined the Geordie bit.
Well, no, it does say Geordie.
Oh, it does say Geordie.
Yeah.
Okay. So Geordie 2 2 2.
Yep.
So he wants a Poker Night Live night up in Newcastle.
He does, yeah. They appear to want that very much.
Yeah, I think we were talking about it. I'm hoping to be at in Newcastle on Tuesday, and I'm hoping to be at Aspers. So.
Ooh. Well, there you go, people.
But maybe we could have a chat with the director and see if we could have a Poker Night Live team go and visit the busy poker scene in Newcastle, because it's a buzzing poker scene in the northeast, I can say that.
Yeah, I've heard that.
There's 4 casinos in Newcastle, all of them doing poker. So it's Aspers, Stanley's, Grosvenor and Bannatyne's, and they all put on poker tournaments. It's a very, very lively poker scene, incredible.
It does sound, and from what you were saying
And the
as well,
hospitality
it sounds
is
so
wonderful,
lovely.
and the people are really friendly, and they welcome everybody, and I could recommend anyone going to Newcastle to try any of those venues for their poker, and they'll have a good time.
Nice. Well, you know what? Nick and I were talking about that as well, getting everyone up, do a carpool up to Newcastle and check it out.
Oh, there we go. So we could have
sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, Nick went there and played, and I recommend a tournament for him to play in, and Cass went there and played. I think managed to play as well. Or yeah, he's obviously played there a lot in the past. So yeah, that would be an idea. We could, Poker Night Live could hit Newcastle. Could be fun. It is one of the main party towns in Europe, you know, Kara.
This is what I hear. I don't think... Well, no, I have
true.
actually been there, but I was on my way through, going somewhere else, so...
Well, that's no good.
I know, it needs to be checked out properly.
Oh, yes. But you can't take your coat with you.
No? Oh, no. Tiny skirts. No coat.
You can take your tiny skirt and no coat,
Yeah.
or whatever the weather. You don't ask what the weather is, you just don't take a coat.
Yeah, that's just what I've heard.
Yeah, it's true. It's no lies, it's true.
Should I get my white stilettos out?
Oh, no, they're very fashionable,
Oh, okay.
but they just don't wear coats.
No outerwear of any kind?
No?
Gotcha.
Bare tummies are favourable.
Not at my age. I think once you hit 30, you're not supposed to do that anymore.
No?
No.
Oh. Well, you can at least show us your tummy before you reach the 30, Kara.
Yeah, right. Too late for that, I'm afraid.
Ace-9 for Dean. Ooh, and done a click the button play. I don't blame him. And oh, he's been lucky. He ran into a big hand, pair of queens, but look, there's a flush draw possible. It's scary. Yes, I felt it coming, Kara. Bang on the river. There's the flush. It's just been going like that tonight, isn't it? Weird.
It is weird.
I felt it in the depths of my tummy there. And that's another computer being... PC World are going to be making fortunes. I've seen 3 computers smashed already tonight. It's unbelievable.
Thankfully, none of them mine so far.
Pretty boy. Yes, you're in trouble as well.
The budgies are flying out the window in cages.
9 King 6. We're all in the money, guys. Andy Pyle, Bullets, and Yo Alec Boy have all got prize money to come. 50%, 30%, 20%. Bullets has got 8,000 chips. And Andy Pyle, it looks like he could be committed here. He is. He's put all his money in with 950. He must be called by Yo Alec Boy. He can't pass here for 630. He's getting... Oh! Bad pass. Bad pass. You were getting too much odds to pass that one. He could have finished the deal there and then. And not a good play. Okay. Yo Alec Boy now, ironically, is going to go in when he's underdog this time. Just because his cards were prettier. He needs to hit a jack because the ace-king is winning. It's not there. And Andy Pyle has now got back in the game, 2,700. And will Yo Alec Boy live to rue that mistake, rue that error? Because he was getting too big odds to pass. He had to call virtually with any 2 cards. And as it happens, he passed a queen, which heads up is not too bad anyway. Yo Alec Boy, that was an error. And we've got a flushy flop. And your Alec boy's got the ace. He feels good. But Bullets has got the real hand. He's got 10s and 4s. Your Alec boy tests. Oh, and he's hit a 2. I hope he doesn't fall in love with that. No, he doesn't. He checks. Bullets checks, and he wins that down with... he's got the pairs there. He got the 10 anyway. 2 pairs, 10s and 4s. Andy Pyle, 28. And look at that. He's neck and neck now with your Alec boy. It's ever since that mistake, it seems to have gone against him. And poker often seems to be like that. It's weird. Kara's looking very technical there. 2,540, and Andy Pyle has now gone into second place. Oh dear me. And it's a big bet from Andy again. He's got the 8, but of course Bullets has got the 10. Oh, and Andy Pyle really did his best to fight back there, but in the end fell in love with second pair, and your Alec boy has managed to limp into second place in the end. At one time he was going to be vying for first place, but now he can unleash the weapons now. In fact, if he unleashes them here, it'll be funny because it's going to be ace-2 against ace-2. But, of course, Bullets has got the slight edge because he's got ace-2 suited. 9th, he's gone all in. Oh, and he's got the flush draw. They've both got a straight draw, but it's Bullets has got the vig. He's got a free draw now. Oh, and there it is. Poor old Yo Alec boy. Kara, it's another computer out the window.
Bizarre.
Unbelievable.
What a night for that.
4 computers, they've gone. Woof. Well done both there. Yo Alec boy, that queen 3, you should have called, mate. And ever since then, it went a bit... Never mind. All together, well played and unlucky at the end, but well done to our winner. Okay, now I think we're going to go and have a look back at the MTT. And we're down to 10 runners. Average is 15,750. 589 is the flop. H2O has got middle pair, but it's Naikago's bet and taking the chips. Kara's chat box still looks pure blue. There's hardly a space in between the letters.
See, I'm turning it all back on them. They usually try to distract me by telling me jokes and whatnot. Now I'm distracting them. And I think, yeah, it's working.
Okay, 4-3 Jack 4-8, and H2 there. His ace king beats the king 9. Whew, what a relief, he says. Still on 10 players, that's 5 players on each table. Of course, we're fighting to get down to 8 players, which will be our final table. King Queen in the small blind and raises. Wow. Ooh, baby. Surrenders. Now Kagred's got the chips there, using them, and he's got another big hand. He's got Big Slick there. Well, he's not going to let this go. What size is the bet? Makes it 1600. That's a nice size. He's got a big stack, and we've already seen that H2O is capable of putting hands down. I'm sure that Nai Kagre has noticed that as well. But he had a real hand there anyway. I know, here's a real hand, King Kong. Now Fast. Okay, nice, well done. You're trying to at least get some money with this. I like it, well played. Made it 2,400. It is under the gun, so it's going to be tough to get opposition, but you did try. You didn't overbet it. So, excellent play, well done. Just unlucky not to get an opponent. And Frey Bentos in the small blind, what's he going to do? Just surrenders, so Fast gets a walk. Always pleasant. Nai Kagre raises from the small blind. Ooh, baby. Ooh, look at this. Ooh, baby. Has just re-raised and took it down. Good action. I'll tell you what, let's have a look at the other table so we can see all our 10 contestants. Here we are, zipping through the matrix, and there they are. There's the other 5. Will Tomcat, we saw before. Lance Boy, both were up there before. Stanters, Buck Burpee, and Snap It, still jogging along there, gone below average now, however, but not too far behind. The average, as I said, is 15,750, so Ken there on 12,680. Blinds have just gone up now to 500, 1,000. Will Tomcat, will he raise? It's short-handed, I think he should. It's a big hand short-handed, ace-9 there. I'd have asked a question myself, especially with the amount of chips he's got. Put the pressure on the blinds. Blinds are worth having there, Will Tomcat. You'd have taken 1,500, which is getting on for 10% increase in your stack. And you did have an ace. An ace short-handed is likely to be the best hand. Ace-9, favourite to be the best hand out of those 5. Well, there's a very nice hand. Stantis has got the ladies. We love the ladies, and we love them in poker too. Stantas with the queens. Does Johnny Chan have smooth skin? I mean, or is he hairy?
You know, I didn't check.
Okay.
I have to say.
No, I meant on his elbow, because some people have hairy arms.
Well, I didn't rub elbows with him.
Oh.
It was with someone at the poker club.
Oh, it's in the poker club. Oh, I thought Oh, right. I thought it was Johnny Chan who rubbed elbows with you.
Oh, well, no, we did rub elbows as well, but
oh, you did?
only
no.
in the professional sense.
Oh, I misread this story.
No, that's true. I did actually rub his arm for luck, though.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, he said it might rub off if I,
Oh, right. I bet he doesn't have a hairy arm, and I didn't even see it.
It was covered in a jumper, so I'm not entirely sure.
Okay,
I have to say.
No. Well, if it's an Angora jumper, that could have been confusing. Will Tomcat has not got much there. Snap It. Let's see what Snap It does with his 8 on the button. This will be interesting. Let's see what Snap It does. I think Will Tomcat's going to pass. Oh, he doesn't. No, he's preempted. And he's preempted there. And actually, that might be because Snap It's there. And he reckons that in the cutoff, he might get Ken to put a hand down. Or he's more like he's going to have a better hand. So it's possible that Will Tomcat used that to his benefit. I'd have loved to know what Snap It would have done there. So this will be interesting to watch. Ken now with ace-9. Nope, doesn't want to play it. Well, and there we are. Jack-8 takes down 1500. Ken, that could have been yours. Lance Boy, ace-10 on the button. He's got 24,000. I'm sure we're going to see a bet from him. How much it's going to be is the question. Pair of threes for Snap It. And he doesn't want to know. We could see his favourite, but he didn't know where he was. I don't mind that, as long as we see Snap It now realising he's going to have to start putting some bets in here. Each round's going to cost you 1,500. So very soon, you can still try and find the hand. Oh, we've got a final. We're there. In fact, we've zipped into it with and we're down to seven players left. Well, don't worry. What we'll do is we will, when we leave this, we will freeze this so we'll be able to go back to it. It's been a good multi-table so far. Interesting things going on. Oh, we must have been waiting for the player to come in. Caught us by surprise there. Naikaga is raised to 2,000 with the 10 Jack. Now Will Tomcat have to check there now what's going on here. It's a check from Naikaga. Will Tomcat try to steal it? In fact, he could have preempted. He's left the door open, but it's only a small bet from Naikaga. What will Tomcat think? Has to given it respect. I wonder if there's enough clues there for Will Tomcat to try something. H2O. Will Tomcat there, 3-7, decides not to play that one. Fray Bentos gets the chips. Fray Bentos on the small blind. Raises. 10-8 Jack. Well, Naikaga's got the middle pair and Fray Bentos got nothing. He's checked. Naikaga, what are you going to do, mate? You've seen a check. The problem is he's probably a bit nervous that he's against someone who's got him covered in chips. But he's bet out. Well done. He bet 2,000 to a pot of 4 and asked the question and took down the pot. Well played. It was only going to get more difficult if you left it. Interesting here, we can see we've got 2 ace-queens. Now, is Stantas going to make a move? Yes, he's made a ruse. He's gone to 4,000. And now, a re-raise from Fray Bentos. Snap It will have to go. What will Stantas do? Are we going to see a clash? Are we going to see someone pushed off the hand? We're waiting in anticipation. As the clock ticks down, the purple stripe starts to disappear into the black. And Fray Bentos gets some more chips to go with his beef. Okay, We're freezing that, don't worry. We're going to not miss any of the action. And Kara's still tip-tapping away on the chat box. I think she might be playing as well, I'm not sure.
I'm playing poker as well.
Oh, you're playing as well? I wasn't sure. I thought you were just chatting.
You know.
She's playing her heart out. She is. She's I don't want to look. I want it to be a surprise. It's like Christmas, you know. I don't want to look. Okay, let's have a look. We've got an email here. And we've got an email from Balrog. That's the guy who was rivered by quad jacks. Right. Morning, Kara and James. Just a quickie. Thought I'd let you know, since my exit from MTT, trip twos to quad jacks, in case you don't recall, cat has run away, wife in bed with neighbour, and budgies have moved in with neighbour's parrot. Seriously though, I generally don't usually get bothered by such things, only if I feel like previous PNL MTT yesterday that it was my fault. That outdraw, however, did affect me, and I will not have another bash at the game tonight. Question is therefore, what do you do when you find yourself knocked sideways by such a thing? Dust yourself off and get back on the bike? Leave it for a bit? Have a beer? Or something else? Well, Balrog, I don't know if this will help you or not, but let's have a look at the screen. Ouch! Sorry, Balrog. The boys in the back couldn't resist it. They're an evil lot. No, Balrog, listen, if you feel it's affected you, you've done the right thing and stop playing. Because if you feel it's affected you, that's it. So don't play anymore. That's fine. Myself, it's just how I feel. If something really has knocked me sideways, if I think my judgment is going to be affected in the near future from what's happened, yes, I would stop as well. I mean, generally, I would hope I would just shrug and carry on playing, probably. But as I said, if I felt it affected me, then I too would stop as well. But you said it's affected you. You've analysed the situation correctly. Hard lines, it was brutal, but we've had a bit of fun with it now, so hopefully you can laugh along with us, and I'm sure you'll be playing again tomorrow night. Okay, we'll have a look to see there's another email here. We've got an email from What's Up. Oh, sorry, What's Pup. Sorry, beg your pardon, mate. Oh, of course, we know What's Pup. What's Pup here? The hand we saw Lance Boy hit quad jacks reminded me of the worst beat I ever took. It's a good job Nick Welfell's not here. He would not accept bad beat stories. I was on big blind with pocket threes and two players limped to the flop of 3-2-2. He already had a full house. I was wary of any of the players having an overpair but not putting either on a 2. I was faced with a small raise which I called. The turn was a 2. I bet I was called to see a river 2. Even a 3-4 off suit was beating me. I checked and my opponent bet. I had to fold, even having flopped the monster for my, you guessed it, turned over and showed his 3-4 offsuit. That's poker, but I did lose the minimum, having 99.3% on the flop. That was brutal. Okay, let's have a look. I think we've got, oh, another one here as well. Just 1 second. It's going to play up. It's going to play up and not refresh. Here it is. Email from Gav. Hi James and Kara. I've been playing poker online and live for about 3 months. I have improved my game by taking on board the advice from the Poker Night Live experts. Yeah! And reading Slansky's Theory of Poker. Good too. What else other than watching more Poker Night Live can I do to further improve my poker? It's a good question. It's too good just to answer quickly. So in fact, I'll repeat it and answer it after the break. Meanwhile, Kara's battling away in the tournament. We're going to have it all later on. We've got the final of the MTT. There's so much to be packed into this show, you can't believe it. See you soon.
Hello and welcome back to Poker Night Live. We're here in the studio. It's the third hour. That last hour just flew by. I don't know about you,
Oh, it was whizzing by with all those outdraws and Oh, everything. It was action-packed.
It really was. It was really quite hard to concentrate on my game because there was so much going on the screen.
We've got more to come. We've got Kara's Beat the Presenter to come, see what happens to her there.
Yep.
Did she chat too much? Did she lose her concentration? We'll have to find out.
Yeah, we'll have to find out. That does seem to be a bit of a theme for me, so it's something I'm working on. That's, let's say, just that.
I've got some news for you, actually, Kara, and it's from the Western Club, and it's that big tournament which has been going on there. They're battling it out. And one interesting bit there, I see Yarvid Abrahams, who had only 9,000. He's got 100,000 chips now.
Wow.
But chip leader at the moment is Luke Patton. He's got 205,000. Jeff Rogers and Shane Ryhill have both got about 130. Ryan Frondu's got 122,000. Willie Tan, 52,000. We all know him. And David Lloyd, he's got 63,000. Jules Adamson, 70. Well, they're battling it out, and we'll try and keep you informed with what goes on in that tournament as it progresses. They've been playing all afternoon. Of course, they played yesterday as well, so it's a long, hard slog for everyone there, but it's a great structure in that tournament, and that's what all poker players want.
A good structure indeed. In fact, this is the first time I played the longer structure myself on the Beat the Presenter. And I was really looking forward to doing it because I do find that I get short stacked halfway through a tournament. So I thought maybe this is a way of not having to reduce my starting standards but still being able to have a bit more play. So I enjoyed that.
Yep, that's good thinking.
Yeah, a new thing for me. Now, I think we're going to do an email before we go in. Oh, you read one right before the break, is that right?
I did, but I think there could be some more there. Have a look.
Okay. I'm not sure which ones you did. I was so focused on my game. See? Aren't you proud of me? So focused.
Yes, I've got one here. It's right. You can read it out and we'll answer it again. It's from Gav. I actually read it, but we didn't have time to finish it because it was so action-packed.
Action-packed. Okay, here we go. This is from Gav. Gav says, "Hi, James and Kara. I've been playing poker online and live for about 3 months. I've improved my game by taking on board the advice from Poker Night Live experts and reading Sklansky's Theory of Poker. What else other than watching more Poker Night Live can I do to further improve my poker? Keep up the good work and thanks." And that's from Gav. So what can he do? What would you suggest?
Well, you can keep on, obviously, as you said, watching Poker Night Live. You also need to play to put into practice what you've been learning. And I also believe that you need to study and read some more. So therefore, you've read his Theory of Poker, which I think is a great book to read. I think you want to also read, and I'll give you a selection of books. I think you also want to read Sklansky's Advanced Hold'em. I think you want to read Sklansky's tournament book, his Tournament Poker. And I think you should also read Harrington's volume 1 and 2, shortly number 3 to come along, and his books on No Limit Hold'em tournaments are just fantastic as well. So I think there's a lot of reading to be done there, and I think you should do that mixed in with watching us and playing. And that way you'll be a very good, hard-working student, and hard-working students will be rewarded by becoming good, winning players. And that's what we want to create here on Poker Night Live. And so far, I'm glad to say that we're very pleased by the number of people who have contacted us and said they have now become winning players. And that makes us so happy. It's real good job satisfaction. So hope you join us.
That's absolutely true. And considering I've not been playing that long myself, and really I only started playing seriously since we started the Beat the Presenter slot.
Yeah.
And just from all of the commentary that I listened to and the advice that you guys give me in the time off as well, I'm now playing against some of our regulars who are fantastic poker players. So, I'm holding my own anyway. Yeah. So it does definitely help. And I think I'm going to check out some of those books as well myself.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I'm feeling like I need a little bit of extra information. Now, if anything that you see on the show sparks your interest, if you want to know anything, questions, maybe a comment about your home game, something like that, let us know here in the studio. There's a couple of ways to get in touch, and this is the first. You can text us. Just text the word poker and then your question or comment to 84222. Or if you want to send us a question, or just, wish me better health, because, I'm coughing up a storm here. You can email poker@pokernightlive.co.uk, and I'm going to try and stop coughing near James, because I don't want to make him ill. Check out our website as well, pokernightlive.co.uk. And there's lots of information on there, but without any more delay, let's go take a look at my tournament, my first crack at this new, longer structure. Let's take a look. And do forgive me if I cough my way through this. I apologise profusely.
No probs. And there in seat 5, we've got Great Scott. And the Great Scott, of course, is Cara Scott.
Yeah, I had one of my usual, one of the usual players who is Farce Bandit, in fact, and she's also Mrs. Scott in her real life.
Right. Just one sec. We've got Morrison limps in there with aces, and I think that's fine in these early stages. The blinds are small. She's trying to find a way to get involved into a big money pot, and I like the play. And sure enough, she's found one customer, and it can't be sweeter. It's against an ace, which is a lovely situation for the aces. Morrison plays it cute, checks it, hoping that Cream Cage is going to make a continuation bet, i.e. betting even if they haven't hit the flop, and which is what's happened. I think with a rainbow flop, all different suits, not too straighty there, I think Morrison could have didn't have to let the game out the bag straight away there.
Yeah,
could have just called that bet and waited for the turn to try and just suck a little bit more out of that one. Because she knew exactly where she was, or he was, and I think could have just perhaps just taken a bit more out of that pot. But never mind.
Okay. Now, I was trying to keep my mind on the game, as we said, and I was trying to bear in mind the advice that you gave me and the commentary I heard in the first hour.
Okay.
So hopefully that kind of bears out.
Well, good. If you can remember any of it where any of it triggered off anything in your game, that'll be good to hear it and reinforce it. Now we've got a queen come over there, which is given a pair to Cat's Paulie, Cream Cage. That is a bad cough, you know.
I know. I do apologise. No, he checks it. Because queen is there, but obviously with such a small kicker as a 4, he doesn't really know where he is, does he? Oh, there you go.
Well, Cara's got, this is the first hand you've played, isn't it? Just a big blind, you've got King 7.
I'm waiting to see what happens.
Grinchy, Ace 10 suited, in the cut-off position, makes it 80. And I'm sure that Cara's going to say goodbye to this one.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And there's no need to play a guessing game here, because you're out of position. You're going to have to be, i.e. you're going to be first to act if you call that bet. And it's not a great hand at all.
Very true.
Difficult hand to play, and you have no need to play that at this stage in the tournament at all. So good decision so far.
Good, and that is actually what I was thinking as well, myself. I find it a little bit easier now to add layers upon layers of thinking. So what do I have? What kind of position am I in? What position will I be after the flop? What are the chip stacks? Slowly, it's all kind of building blocks.
Yep, it's starting to take shape there. And interesting to watch what you do here.
Yeah, 2 times the big blind from Morrison. I didn't have anything.
You got a small blind, you don't have to get busy there either, and that's fine. There's no need, you don't need to make any dramatic moves in these early stages, because you'd be taking a risk when there's not too much in the middle, so that famous risk-reward ratio wouldn't be worth it.
That's what I was thinking, and I was also thinking, because we do say that people tend to hemorrhage chips from the small blind.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm trying not to act in the small blind unless I really feel I need to. There we go. Joff has a pair of 3s. And that is, yeah, that's the best hand on the board so far. But he puts it down because Grinchy decides to make a bet there. See where he's at.
Well, took advantage there. Snuggy bug. Got the snowmen.
Ah, yes, snowmen.
Great Scott being very disciplined.
Yeah. I keep thinking to myself, if I do limp in with these cards, what am I going to want to see on the flop? And it's going to be pretty specific. And what's the point?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to know exactly where I am compared to everyone else. It's messy.
Yep. So you wanted to know where you were, basically, which is good.
Good, good, good. These games are incredibly tight. I was thinking that as well. It did last a fair long time. And I know that the blind structure, or the chip stacks are different. You start with 2,000 instead of 1,000 or 1,500. So it does last a bit longer. But it certainly did last a long time, I tell you.
Oh, hand for here for Kara. What does she do? The big blind's 20. I'm interested to see what she bets. She bet 60. We're good control. Not too big a bet.
Mm-hmm.
And being called by King Queen. And look, raise pot. Looks like that King Queen's made a mistake.
I know. I just hope I didn't. Oh no, I remember how this played out now.
Right, pot's 150. It's a small flop and a pair. It's quite good for you there, Kara. And you bet, but he calls. You can't like that when he calls.
I was wondering. I don't like
there's 300 in the middle. Are you going to follow up with another bet? You can't really think that 6 has helped him, I think.
No.
Ah, a bit small.
Too small though, wasn't
Didn't
it?
like
That's
the
what
bet.
I thought, yeah.
Just a bit small there.
What would should I have gone for half the pot?
Oh. And do you believe your ace is winning? Wow. Well done. You're a brave girl there. You thought, in fact, hopefully you thought that out and you thought, well, I don't believe the 3 helped him and I don't believe that 6 helped him either because he didn't like it particularly.
Yeah.
But where you slightly went wrong was that 50 bet.
Yeah, that said
What did it mean when he called the 50? It didn't mean it didn't tell you anything, did it?
Right. It wasn't a question. It was a nothing, really.
Yeah.
So
you
you
should have probably asked the question there and then because he could have got you off that pot.
Yeah, he could have. If he'd made a bigger raise, I would have folded.
Or even at the end, if he bets bigger, you maybe say, I can't risk this. You see?
True.
So
in a pot of 400, should I have bet a 200 in there?
The pot was 400. Yeah, you could have bet 200, 250,
really?
But not 50.
No, that was silly. I know. I knew that as soon as I did it. So that's good.
That's a little bit of a poor play there. It's a weak play.
Definitely a weak play.
In fact, you might as well have checked as bet 50 because 50 doesn't do anything there.
No, you're absolutely right. It was nothing.
So it smelt of weakness, didn't it, really?
Yeah.
So you're a bit, but well done in the end. In the end, when you sort of have checked, you've actually left the door open for him to try and steal. So you actually, which is amazing with an ace high, but you did that. Now your early position here, now you've actually cranked it up just a tad more. You've made it 80. I don't mind that. And you get called by ace queen.
I know.
Lovely. So you've got a dominating position here. Ace king suited against ace queen. Very tasty. And I'm sure Morrison doesn't want to know.
I can't imagine that helps, again, like you were saying, whoever it is. It might do. They might have an ace with a small kicker, and that might have hit for them a pair.
Morrison decided to pass. He thought it was better to take the safe ways.
Oh, that's bad. Oh.
That is bad.
He wasn't cooperating.
Oh! Ooh. Boom, boom. Well, what's the betting going here? What did you? I missed your bet there on the flop.
I put in half the pot.
Okay,
yeah,
now it's 5-10 now. 80
again, nothing. It's terrible. I'm going to write this down.
This is a nothing bet, but as it happens, he's passed.
Luckily. Okay, so I need to, if I'm going to make a bet on the flop or the turn.
Well, if you're going to do a follow-up, well, it doesn't have to, that is nothing. It's just too small. You know, it's in relation to the size of the pot. So basically, your bet has got to follow a storyline.
Yeah.
You're representing you've already got a pair in your hand, basically.
Yeah.
Well, you wouldn't put in 80 when you've already got a pair in your hand.
True. Unless I was trying to trap him. But then that'd be a bit obvious,
but not when there's a possible for someone to make a straight or a flush or whatever. If you had a pair in your hand, you'd be charging them to make their hand or whatever. So you've got to imagine what hand you would like to have in this situation, and now you've got to bet as if you had that hand.
Right.
And in none of those situations would you have been betting 50 or 80.
Yeah, you're right.
They don't fit the storyline. If they had been a little bit more savvy, they would have said, well, hang on, you haven't got anything there, Kara.
Yeah.
Take that.
Yeah.
And they could have actually bashed you out the pot both times.
You're right. I've written it down.
Okay.
Continuation bets must have some kind of worth, and they must follow the storyline.
Right. I want you to say, follow the storyline, imagine the hand that you've got, and then bet accordingly. So name the hand you've got that you're trying to pretend you've got, and bet as if you had that hand.
Gotcha. So what am I trying to represent, and then act as if?
Exactly.
Yeah. Good. Good, good. I like it. Good feedback.
Because rather than bet the 50 or 80, in a lot of those cases, it'd probably be better not to bet at all. Leave it and see what they did.
Yeah.
They might even think you've done that with extra strength sometimes, but I mean, it does nothing much there, and it really leaves the door open for them to come over the top of you and you don't like it.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
You're tempting them actually to raise you in a way. So...
yeah, probably one of them really should have, and it would have taught me a lesson not to do it again.
Yeah. But never mind. What happened was you actually started the hands with quality hands. And Morrison's got a pair of nines here. Oh, a raise. You've got king, queen. Interested to see what you do here.
Yeah, but as you say, king, queen rules in the land of the unraised pot.
Right.
So I was trying to be disciplined. And it didn't work. I didn't believe him, I gotta say.
Okay.
I know, that's bad. Slap on the wrist. King,
Well,
queen.
you've played it aggressively, though. But how aggressively? Again, this is a slightly... It's just a flat re-raise. Is this because it's easy to do on the button, or...?
Yeah. That's true, that's sad.
And now he's
isn't it?
re-raised you.
Yeah, and so I've lost some chips and gotten out of it. King, queen rules in the land of the unraised pot, and I should have just listened to it the first time, because I've had to put it down.
So you've actually squandered 200 chips there.
You're right, I have.
And that is the problem with the hand, isn't it? What is the problem with the king, queen?
It's very vulnerable.
And it's a hand where you don't always know where you are
Right,
with it.
yeah,
So
definitely.
therefore it's hard to win big pots with it, and you can get sucked into things. All of a sudden you were losing confidence with the hand by the second.
Yeah,
And you've actually left 200 chips behind without even seeing a card.
yeah,
And he's bullied you off with a pair of nines.
I know. But at least I asked the question, and he answered it, and I got out.
But did you ask a question?
Did I
And
not?
it's the betting again.
So I only
So-
asked another 80 chips, I guess, huh?
It's a flat re-raise, which is...
Okay.
You've got to look at your bets in relation to what's in the pot a little bit here.
Gotcha.
And that is not enough. Don't just get in the habit of clicking what's on that computer, which is an easy way
Yeah.
of putting the bet in. So
True.
that's like a little bit of poker laziness there.
You're right. And math laziness.
Right, is that why you did it more? Because it's handy just to click that raise
Yeah,
button?
It was.
Okay. Well, that's what I would sense as
Okay.
well.
Okay. Good to know. I will, I'll bear that in mind.
Yeah.
Again, I think...
Also, if you put in a different size bet, it does actually look like you're actually thinking about your bet.
Right. And the value of what you've got rather than just hitting the automatic.
Yes.
I see. On Friday, it was
Where
my
you
betting
could-
pattern that was out of whack as well.
Where you
so-
could do something with the automatic is actually if you've got a monster, you could click your automatic like you've just clicked the automatic. When in fact you say, "Come on, I've really got a monster." So you could actually fool them that way sometimes. But again, I did not like the bet, I'm afraid.
Okay. That was just not enough
It
to
wasn't
say
enough.
anything. Gotcha.
And your hand wasn't bigger. If your hand was bigger, I don't mind it because you like
Yeah, but it's too vulnerable.
tickling them along there to
Yeah.
just get more money in the pot and maybe annoy them into re-raising you.
Yeah.
But you annoyed them into re-raising you and then had to pass. So you don't annoy them when you haven't got a hand to withstand their reaction.
Good point. Very good point.
Okay. But never mind, you're still above your starting stack and you're going along okay. So this is good, you're in quite good shape, but already we've got a bit of learning
Definitely.
taking place here.
But that's why I like doing this when you're on the show, because
Okay.
you are very honest with me on this.
Oh,
and-
well, I'm never going to tell you otherwise. I'll
Good.
praise you when you do well, and I'll criticise you when you make mistakes.
Excellent. It's the only way to learn.
What good is it for you if I don't do that?
It's just no good at all. So I appreciate
People think,
it.
oh, you're too mean with them.
No!
But I actually have said before, actually I think they like it when I tell
Too
them.
right. I mean, I want to get better, and if I don't actually know how to, then what's the
Michelle
point?
blames me because she says she can never win when I'm on.
Really?
Yes. She says I'm her bok.
Ah!
And she says it's because she wants to win so much
Yeah. Yeah,
when she's
I
on
bet.
with me, and then she says it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So I hope I'm not going to be a bok for you every time you're on. That'd be awful.
I
wouldn't
hope
it?
not, too. But no, I appreciate it because these are things I need to learn.
And of course, that's how we all learn, because it's great.
Yeah.
People pay probably quite a lot of attention to this game you're playing, so therefore some of these comments hopefully are going to hit home. Right, this is an interesting situation here. What happens? Woo! Cheers go up in the air as Kara takes down the blinds with
Jack
no
9.
contest.
Yeah, nothing at all.
Morrison there, maybe.
He's playing fairly tight.
With a king there, I might have been tempted to ask you a little question.
Ooh, quite tight's got aces there. That's going to be nice and late-ish position there.
But anyone else do anything
Late
beforehand? Yes, it's in the cutoff there.
Yeah.
Quite tight. Let's see the size of bet. Nice. Oh, just in a flat raise.
He's tickling.
He's tickling. And now if you tickle if you've got a big hand,
Yep.
because you can withstand what's
see.
going on.
Yeah, I see. I know exactly what you mean about that. That's
But this
no.
is cruel, isn't it? He's tickled, but he's tickled and
Ouch.
walked into trip tens. But if you
Ouch.
tickle, you should not make this pot extra big. He should be he should just contain the size of the pot if he's not sure where he is.
Yeah.
There's 220 in the middle. You can ask a question there. 160, quite nice measure bet.
Yeah, okay.
But his opponent's called. He should now check.
Ooh.
He does check. Good play by Quite Tight. He didn't go overboard with his aces there. He's suspicious his opponent's got tens. Now he's got to consider whether to pay him off or not. And I like the way Quite Tight's played this hand, actually. Well, I'm going to be very impressed
Wow.
indeed.
Well done.
I'll tell you what, Quite Tight, absolutely a tremendous performance there.
No kidding.
Tremendous performance. And that was a great way. He tickled with the aces. He wanted to get an opponent. He got the opponent. He was very unfortunate. He didn't get the flop he wanted. But look at the way he handled the betting. And he really found out where he was.
Yeah.
He lost the minimum he needed to in that pot. And that, I'll tell you what, Quite Tight, that's the best play I've seen tonight. And that was tremendous.
Okay.
Absolutely tremendous.
Lovely
Very
play.
well played indeed. Excellent. Wow.
Wow. Okay. I can learn from... Oh.
And there we are. I'm
Wow.
applauding the guy who's lost a hand, and he played it so well.
Yeah, well, it's more important to play well, isn't it, than to win the pot.
Because in the long run, with play like that, that sort of play is going to be a winner.
Yeah, it'll bear out. I cannot believe that FC Pauly called the 120 raise that Morrison put in there. Pre-flop, wow.
And, he's really playing this aggressive. He's re-raised him. Oh, and how lucky is that? He's gone and hit the 5.
Wow.
We've seen a lot of this tonight. This is
No
unbelievable.
Wow.
What a turn card.
Huh. What are you going to do with it, Pauly? Oh, that's pretty much an all-in there.
Yeah, well, he's frightened of the flush, I believe. And he says, I'll take this down now. I'm happy with my good fortune, he said. And he didn't want to... he was frightened of a spade. But okay,
Wow.
he's got himself in good shape.
Okay.
But very
Yeah.
fortunate.
And Snuggybug now has a bit of a hand and wants to play. I found that I got to play a lot more hands in this game than I usually do. It just felt like it. I don't know.
Well, maybe you hit a few more cards as well. You had a few reasonable cards. Well, we're in late position. Okay. No, you're in late position.
Yeah.
So,
I wouldn't have done it if I
But
wasn't.
what am I going to criticise?
The size?
Exactly.
Well, I figured...
Well, you've just re-raised. You've just done your little automatic raise again.
You're right.
He made it 120. You've raised 80 more.
Yeah. You're right. It's ridiculous, isn't it? It's got to be a How much more should it have been then?
Well, you could have made it... When you made it 120, you could have made it...
240?
No, you could have made it 300 or something.
Really? That much more?
Because
Like
you're
double it?
raising. You're saying, look, I'm raising you.
Okay.
Well, he's checked and you've smelt this as being weakness, and now you've bet. And that is a better size bet there.
Okay. Not quite
Not
half.
quite enough,
Yeah.
but it was a better size bet.
Okay.
So you actually bothered to put in a... So we now see that you can put in different size
can
bets,
type
which
if
is
I
a
have to.
relief. Because we're wondering now if you only could click certain buttons.
Yeah.
But now we've seen... Now I'm pleased. I'm relieved now.
Good.
In fact, you even put in, what, 235 or something? You got... Was it?
I think it was 230.
Oh, 230
Yeah,
was it? Okay,
I think so. It still wasn't quite half the pot, though. It should have been more. But I will have to. That's something I'm going to take away from tonight.
Good bet. But
yeah.
again, okay, I like the aggression of your raise against the guy, but it was a baby raise.
Yeah. So it's not really saying what it wants to say.
No.
Yeah, because I'm trying to be more aggressive. This is something I found on Friday. I was not at all aggressive, but I'm not actually sending out the right signals. I'm lucky that they're accepting them as signals because.
And you just called it,
point.
and so you didn't get rid of him because you've been quite happy to get rid of him as well.
True.
Because you know, pair of fours against King Jack's no bargain. You're better off taking the chips because you could end up losing chips and not know where you are. You see, the problem is with a pair of fours.
Full house there. Sorry for Snuggy Bug. Nice.
Oh yes, goodness, yeah, full house on the turn, yeah. Because the pair of fours, once the person calls, it plays horribly because every card's an overcard.
Yeah.
It's a very brave bet you put in there because there's 3 overcards on the flop.
Yeah.
So it's difficult. It's difficult. In fact, if he'd bet, you'd have passed.
I would have.
Because you'd have been frightened. So, oh, he's hit into king, he's hit into 9, he's hit into, or whatever was on the flop. You'd say you think he's hit one of those because they're all bigger than my fours.
So true.
So that's why, if you're going to play it aggressively, the raise has got to have a chance to have some
impact.
No.
Oh.
It's got to have a chance to have some fold equity.
Ah, right. Yes. Fold
so
equity.
the raise, write that down. The raise has to have a chance to have some fold equity.
Yeah.
Does that
I'm
make
writing
sense?
it down at the moment. Raises must have
fold equity.
Fold equity, unless you're trying to tickle them along.
Yes. Unless tickling.
Unless it's a tickle. Got it. See, I've written it down. This is good. This is very good. These are things I need to know.
Of course it's good. This is Poker Night Live.
Yeah.
It's all quality stuff you're going to get.
Absolute quality. See, I need to make the most of these. Not everyone gets to sit down with the poker expert for an hour and be talked through their play. It's fantastic.
Great Scott, King 6. But I must admit, I like to see that I like to see what I'm seeing though as well.
Yeah.
Because it looks like you're not just playing it in a wooden fashion.
Yeah.
It looks like you want to make some plays, and that I like.
Cool.
It's just now we've got to refine the plays that you're making.
Yeah.
But I do like what I'm seeing so far.
Excellent. I was glad that I got some chips early in the tournament so that I could feel more comfortable.
Give you a little bit of scope to play, yeah.
I felt I could make a few moves and see what happened.
Okay, we've got all flat callers here. We've got 4 callers here. Flop 3, 5, 9, 2 spades, and no one has actually connected. Grinchy needs a 6 straight, middle pin's straight draw. Joff is just there with the overcards and bets 240, but it's the overcards and got latish position, and it's good enough. And read the situation well and took it down. Oh, you passed before we could even see it there.
Oh, 2-3 of spades.
Wow. King. Joff there just calls with a pair of 7s. Well, people just flat called the last hand, so I don't mind him trying that with the 7s. He could well get away with it. And then he's just prepared to get away from it if it doesn't hit. And that's another fine way of playing small pairs. Problem is, Grinchy might put in a raise from the button.
Yeah.
But he doesn't, he just flat calls. And as I said, the hand before they all flat called. And it's happened again, the ace-queens has flat called. And that was probably the ace-queen there could have actually thinned the field there. But he's got a flush draw and the overcards, a pretty nice hand.
Yeah, no kidding.
I think should bet because he would definitely call if someone else bet. And so therefore, why not grab some fold equity at the same time, which he's done.
240, is that a good size bet?
Yes.
Okay.
Very good because it was into a pot of 320.
Okay. Good.
So that was a good play. And that was a hand where he'd have definitely called a raise, because a bet rather, because he had the nut flush draw and 2 overcards. And so therefore, in that case, he might as well bet.
Yeah.
And
better to be better than fold equity.
Exactly.
Yay.
Exactly.
Fold equity. Name of the game, that is. That is definitely something to bear in mind. You know, this poker thing's quite fun.
Ah. Do you like it more and more now?
I do. I even play from home.
Ooh.
I know. I find it quite enjoyable.
Brilliant.
I do. It's good fun. It's more fun when I have an expert sat next to me who can tell me where I'm going wrong, though, afterwards. It's nice, though, and we have such a lovely group of people who watch the show and play on the tables and email in and whatnot, so it makes it, makes it even that much more interesting and enjoyable for me.
Okay, a little update from the Western. Jim Kerrigan was busted by Ryan Frondu, and this is quickly followed by the one and only legend Willie Tan, going out to chip leader Luke Patton. So we've got 7 left at the Western there. As I said, we'll try and give you some updates with that as the night progresses. I
bet they're definitely getting a bit tired over there. It's a long amount.
Had a long session there, long 2 days.
Wow. Johnny Chan was telling us a story about his 5-day poker marathon when it was probably in the 70s, he was saying, because he only actually ended up winning something like $3,500 or 30. It was
thousand.
It must have been thousand.
Yeah.
Even in the 70s, it must have been thousands, right? He said it wasn't very much, but at the time it was more, obviously.
Oh, it's probably more. What, on one of his main tournaments?
No, it was a cash game. I think.
Oh, a cash game. Oh no. Oh well, I don't know. Whatever it could have been. Yeah.
Yeah. He said it was just so much fun he couldn't get away from it.
Great Scott, can she get away from 10-5 of hearts? Yes, she does. And Joff there with the ace-queen on the button makes it 240, 3 times the big blind. Now, what is Creamed Cage going to do with the ace-7? I don't think there's any need for a guessing game here. Can put it down. Kara now with 10-6.
Yeah, out of position. Nah.
Well, not a good hand anyway.
No.
Joff there, 6-jack, not particularly good either, but 1 position later. Tries to have a look. Ends up against Snuggybug. And Joff has got the flush draw, backdoor straight draw. 2 backdoor straight draws, basically, goes both ways. Had a check from Snuggybug, so bets, and I like that bet. I think that's good. It's a good classic semi-bluff. As it happens, not really a bluff at all, because he was actually winning just with the high card, but he didn't know that. Carey here with an ace. She says.
Yeah, I can't see myself
playing with that rubbish.
Early position now. It's just not the done thing, I'm afraid. Although if we look, I am the chip leader at this point. This is quite exciting.
You are the chip leader, 2,475.
It's very exciting
and we still haven't lost a player. And it's flush draw against, well, both suited cards, same suit. But, and they're both in a pair. How amazing is that? So it's the top pair for Creamed Cage, the pair of 10s, and it's a middle pair for Paulie, who has now stolen the pot from Creamed Cage.
He has done.
K4.
Nope. No.
Paulie there, 8-9 suited. He's actually the chip leader now, just sneaked ahead of you by 25 chips.
He must be punished.
Definitely. Creamed Cage, flat raise, the small re-raise from Snuggybug.
Oh, and he's hit his ace. Now what will he do? Will he do a tickle? Oh.
And he put in a bet there. And he had to find out what was going on. It looked like he was winning. There's no point. It's not good enough to slow play. He has to bet his hand there. Great Scott's got a pair.
Yeah, which is nice and all.
Wow.
It's a low pair. I've not played a hand in a while.
210. She picked a different price here, so therefore proving her ability to type.
Oh.
Gone are the days of the automatic bet now.
I haven't played a hand in a while. I figured it might be able to steal.
And this is a very aggressive play with a pair of 6s under the gun.
I'll let it go if anyone...
And people here now obviously thinking that you've got a pair, but they imagine it's a bit bigger than a pair of sixes.
That's what I was hoping.
So Morrison, what does he think? If he knew you had sixes, he'd call. But he doesn't, and you get respect.
Well, I figured it was worth a try.
Because you've been quiet for a while.
That's
and,
what I thought.
Okay.
And it was out of position, so I thought they might actually listen to it.
Well, they think it's going to be a better hand than
Yeah.
it was, and so you did have a hand anyway. So there was an escape route. You were favoured against two big cards anyway.
Yep.
So okay, good.
It wasn't terrible.
No, a bit of imagination there, and also the price was quite nice actually, because it looked like slightly mysterious price. So therefore, it could be the sort of price you might put in with a big hand.
True. I don't know what I was thinking there with the 210. I gotta be honest, I have no idea.
Well, it would have made me think, ooh, you've got something maybe a bit special here. So it could, I'm sure it could have wrong-footed them.
It might have done. Yeah, I thought it'd be easier to steal the blinds if I didn't wait till I was on the blinds. I just thought maybe, you know, they'll listen to me a bit more if I'm out of position. I like it when it works.
Definitely.
I was ready to put it down, though, if someone actually came over the top of me or something.
Yeah, so if someone re-raised you, you'd have to put it down. Yeah. Small blind. I think she's going to pass. Doesn't like that 2 in her hand, I don't reckon.
No.
Looks a bit ugly.
I don't like making up the big blind. I just think it's a waste of
I
chips.
think you were chatting there rather than thinking.
I think I probably was.
Yeah. So, okay, and Kara's got ace-2 on the button. So let's see if there's any action before it gets to her. There's nothing there. Morrison might do something. He does. Oh my goodness.
Big something.
Well, that takes the decision away from you, I would imagine.
Yeah, completely.
If he'd passed there, would you have done anything?
Yeah, I probably would have.
Okay.
Oh, that said, I already tried that. I mean, no, I think I probably would have. Yeah, I might have tried to steal it. Just to see what would happen.
Okay, and the ace-10s decide to take him on, and he's well on the right side of it. 999, emergency for Morrison. And no answer to the emergency, and bye-bye.
Yeah.
We've lost a player.
And it's about time.
Whew, it's been going on for ages, and we've had a full complement of players. We're up to 8160 now. We've still got 7. Snuggy Bug is put in a flat raise with the pair of 7s under the gun. It's a Kara Scott play. Well, it's under the gun play with a pair. Are we going to see success for this yet again? We do.
There we go.
And Paulie there with the King Kong. Kara 8-9 looks pretty though.
It does, doesn't it? It's suited and everything.
Connected, suited.
Yeah.
Hearts.
Pretty hearts. I definitely considered it. But I didn't want to do it too many times to then make it look like I'm doing it all the time and then just, it wouldn't work, would it?
Just as well, because look at this, there's the monster on the button.
Yeah. King Kong.
Feeding his chest. Chucking chips into the pot as fast as he can. Well, I don't like the size of the bet.
No.
It's an over bet, and he's won the blinds. I've said it before tonight, I'll say it again, you're not going to get these big hands too often. He's got the ideal situation there to probably just get one opponent, and that's what he should aim to get. And win some chips.
What do you think would have been a good bet? 3 times a big blind, just
Yeah,
unusual?
or even 2.5 times, and just try and get the guy in there. And then play according to the flop, like we saw Quite Tight do before.
True.
And that's what you need to do. Find where you are. If the flop looks dangerous, contain the size of the pot, etc. But more times than not, your kings will beat someone else heads up.
Yeah.
You know, so you might as well get. You want to get in that contest. This is a contest where you are favourite to win chips. So you need to fight it out. You don't want the blinds. Getting the blinds, you're being underpaid for the hand.
Yeah, capitalise when
that
you've got kings.
hand is worth more chips than the 2 blinds.
Yeah.
So you've got to capture them. You've
hear
got to
what you're
make
saying.
the value of your hand. basically.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because you're right, how many times in a game, even in a night...
How many times is sit and go are you going to get it?
Yeah,
exactly.
That's well said. You know, I think a lot of people have said...
why not write that one down? Make use of my big hands.
Ah, yeah.
And then just put it like in little brackets, how many times in a night will I get king, king? Or how many times in a sit and go will I get king, king, e.g.? Will that help?
Yep, I think so.
Okay.
How many times in a sit and go will I get king, king?
Yeah, and then that'll put it into your head.
Yep. That's a very good point. Because if
Okay.
you've got a monster, you should, you know, make some chips on it.
Yeah. You want to be taking down the blinds with funny hands, which you don't want to play.
Yeah. Yeah. Which are too vulnerable to seeing the flop.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
When you've got a poorer hand, you want to do whatever you can to increase the chance of your opponent folding.
Yes. Fold equity.
When you've got a better hand, then you can decrease the amount of times the opponents need to fold because you're going to win on merit a lot of times.
Gotcha. Okay.
So you can, this balance changes according to the level of your hand. Increase the amount of times they pass, decrease the amount of times they pass because I'm going to win a lot of times on merit and win more money. There we have ace queen. Made it 640.
That's
Four
a lot.
times the big blind.
It seems like a lot there. But I suppose ace queen is quite vulnerable, so...
It is, and it's an early position, so therefore it can be justifiable. It does take another 240. So I don't mind that so much.
Yeah.
Kara's card seems to have dried up a bit here now.
They do, don't they? I wish my cold would, I tell you. You poor thing, I'm sniffling away beside you.
Quite tight, hasn't done much for a while, and is put in a raise here, 480, 3 times the big blind. Nice bet. Should get away with it. Surely Paulie's not going to call that. Nope. Quite tight takes it down, and quite tight has been quite tight, and of course picked a good situation there, hadn't had a bet for a while, was reasonably good position, put the nice size bet in, not over panicky bet,
yeah.
and just took down the blind, so it was a good play again. And this looks rather tasty. Grinchy's raised with ace-9, and Kara's waiting there with American Airlines.
I know, and I'm thinking to myself, now what do I do? Do I re-raise?
So, well, we could have guessed what you're going to do. You've done that small raise, but this time we don't mind it.
Because this might be a tickle.
It's a tickle. Now, this time we don't mind it. Okay. So, therefore, this is okay. You've actually got rid of the other two, ended up heads up, and it's very hard for him to put this down. So but he does.
Yeah.
But I don't mind it this time.
Yeah? Okay, well there I can see why it's a better thing to do.
Because he might have called it, and you're in great shape.
Okay.
So that was fine. The tickle was fine.
Not so bad for a tickle.
If people play with you a lot, and if you only ever do that when you've got a big hand, of course it's not going to be any good because you're just going to be flashing a light, I've got a big hand.
Yeah.
So therefore, you can vary it.
Okay, so mix it up
So
a
therefore, some of the time, you can do that little racing with another hand as well, so they see it with 2 different hands.
Gotcha.
But the majority of the time, you don't want to be doing this tickle bet.
Yeah, and it's got to be a conscious decision, not just an automatic response.
Probably a better way would be that your raises are all a bit more money.
Yeah.
So therefore, even with the better hand, you would still do the bit more money and forget the tickle altogether, because the bigger bets have more forward equity when you need it.
Yeah.
And then will pay you more money when you've got the hand.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Raise the level of my betting, and yeah. I need to have that kind of confidence, I think, in my play. Yeah. So that's something I'm going to work on. So
don't just say, oh, I tickle with a big one and raise with a big one. In fact, I'd rather you just did the standard raise with, bigger raise with both of them.
Gotcha.
There we go. Grinchy's smashed it in there and took it down. Gave himself maximum forward equity there. He just wanted to take those chips. He needed them. Kara now got a pair again. And the blinds are up to 163.20, so it's really moving along here now, you know. And it's a flat raise from Kara. Well,
too early position to do a flat raise. I should have probably done a bigger raise.
I think you probably should do a bigger raise.
Should have been 3 times.
You want to really give them a problem here. And now this is, you've got to sweat this, because it's only 320 for him to call. You know, you don't know what he's got. He could have ace 10.
I was
and
lucky.
if he's got it, he's getting such big odds, but he passes.
He is quite tight.
Yeah.
No, you're right. That was absolute luck in a lot of that, so I need to...
It probably needs to be cranked up a little bit, just a little bit more, even if you'd made it... if you'd made it 800 instead of 640, even, something like that. It's a proper raise, it alters the odds of him calling you, etc., etc.
Gotcha.
Ace Queen there, he's cranked it up, because the blinds are so big now anyway, so it's, you really need to... you don't want to get in a situation where someone comes along and then bets you off the hand and stuff like that, you see.
Absolutely.
Cream Cage is in a situation there, he doesn't have many rounds of play. I think he's right the way he's played it now.
Yeah.
Because he's quite happy, because now he's actually winning 480, and this is where it changes. And this is where you might be saying, oh, you're saying a bit different now. Yes, I am saying different now, because the 3Rs, the risk-reward ratio, has altered. And I look at those blinds in the middle, and I go, yum, yum, that's 480 chips. Thank you very much. That's about 25% of the starting stack.
Yeah.
Of course it now becomes more appealing to take those down without any risk. So therefore, one can actually go to win those now more often. Again, I think Snuggy Bug's bet there is...
Too small.
Too small. As it happens, he's going to probably get away with it. As we can see, no one's got a hand.
Yeah, it does feel like he's trying to steal the blinds there, but I've gotten to the point where I no longer bite at that,
Well,
which is
no,
good.
you haven't got a hand to fight anyway. You know, you've got a hand which doesn't beat a bluff there. You know, Queen 2, it's not very good.
Oh, no, but there is a time when I would have definitely thought, he's just stealing my blinds. I'm going to call that and just see what happens. So I'm glad I've matured a little.
I'm enjoying this so far, so I hope the guys there have frozen that for us.
They have done, I think, so we will come back to that after the break, so that we can see how it panned out, giving nothing away. So it was an interesting game, though. I have to say, I think I've learned more from just watching that bit back with you than I have in quite a while. So
oh, brilliant.
I've got, look at that, whole page of notes. See? I wasn't even just putting it on. That's a whole page of notes for me.
You've been really writing it.
Yeah, so watch out, everyone, when I'm playing from home. Okay, now we have an email. Let's go to an email here. This is from Andy, and Andy says, good morning, Karen and James. Well, good morning to you too. Last night, I caught the very end of James talking about bankrolls. Could James please go over the basics of bankrolls again for us beginners? Thanks for a great show. Yeah, and Johnny Chan talked about this a little bit as well.
Okay, I'll talk a bit more specifically about it. I was talking about bankrolls last night, and it's... I think even Mark found it quite shocking how big I think the bankroll should be for people to play, but I really do think it, and I think one should err on the side of caution, basically, I think you need to have, playing in a cash game, I think you need to have 40 times the maximum buy-in at your table.
Wow.
So therefore, if you're playing at where the maximum buy-in is $50, you should have a bankroll of $2,000.
Wow.
So you are able to play. You're able to play with the maximum amount of stakes, so you've got your full arsenal of weapons. You can push people off the hand, you can do re-raises, you don't just have to win the hand on merit, you can play proper poker. And if you get unlucky and you lose your chips, you can say, okay, I can buy in again. And you don't feel under pressure because you've still got a lot of bankroll left. And you can play with confidence, because you can't play with frightened money in this game.
Very good advice there. And don't forget that bankroll is not synonymous with your wife's holiday fund. That's going to get you in trouble. Now we're going to a break, and we'll come back and see the last bit of that Beat the Presenter, so don't go anywhere. We'll see you soon. Hello and welcome back to the last hour here on our bank holiday, well, it's Monday morning now, so I'll say Monday, edition of Poker Night Live. It's beginner's night, and we're going through some of the basic strategy, although we're not starting right at the bottom, as we usually do, or right at the beginning. We're actually taking a look at you know, beginners like me who are maybe a little bit farther ahead, who are starting to think on a different level, not just
who are making
struggling.
progress.
Well, yeah, see, I hesitate to
Exactly.
say that, but
No, we're definitely making progress.
I think I am finally, so yeah.
But she's still got a page full of notes.
I do, I really honestly do, because
Yeah.
I think that's the way to learn.
It
so.
is a way. And after every time you play, it's good to go away from your game and say, what have I learned today?
That's a very good point, actually. I'm sure that
So
everyone could do
rather
that.
than bemoaning about your bad beat, remembering that to tell someone, remember, in fact, a hand where you think you misplayed. And remember that, and that'll do you a lot more good in the future.
That's true. You know what, it's almost too bad that I hadn't been punished, really, for putting in these tiny bets.
Yes.
Because then I probably would remember more. Although I've written it down now that continuation bets have to actually ask a question. They have to
Yes.
have fold equity.
Yes.
Otherwise, what's the point? So, but yeah, maybe people should be punished more for bad play because then we won't do
So
it. But
remember them, yeah.
that's a thought anyways. What are your thoughts on the matter? You can let us know here in the studio. You can send us a text or an email and tell us what your thoughts are. Text the word poker and your question to 84222, and you can send us an email. If you're watching that game as well that I was playing the Beat the Presenter, send me in your thoughts. poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. And in fact, we're going to go and take a look at the rest of that game. And then we also have our MTT as well to take a look at
Ooh,
afterwards.
so much to watch.
Packing it into the last hour.
Brilliant.
Here we go.
I'm looking forward to this rest of this.
Me too. But that's not me. There I am.
Oh, that's it. Same colour, but different game. And there's Kara there with 8-5.
I am thinking, maybe I could steal, but then I look at FC Pauly and I think, well, he's got a larger chip stack and he can cover me, and it's just,
No,
I didn't have enough
You don't
to-
need to. Listen, you've got enough time.
Yeah.
You're above average chips.
I'm definitely thinking, where are the situations where I can
But
make
the
chips,
only thing
though?
now is what's the thing? What is the thing now? Tell me what's happened here. What is the thing you should be noticing in this game?
In this game, I should be noticing that, let's see, the blinds are quite high.
That's it.
Most of
That's
the
it.
people are still...
That's it. That's it.
That's
The
it.
blinds are
Okay.
quite high. Each round is costing you 480 chips. So when we divide that into our stack, we see that no one is really very comfortable in this game.
That's true, because there's so many of us left.
Exactly. So once the field thins a bit, then it'll change. It'll give you a bit more play. But at the moment, this is pretty hairy times for everyone.
Yeah, it really is. Everyone's going to start thinking about when to make their move, I guess.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, okay, I mean, I've not got 10 times a big blind. But then nobody has. Well, almost nobody has. And that's not that big a deal because when you compare it to everyone else at the table, I'm actually doing better than most of them. So I don't want to make any silly moves.
Do you know, Kara, I'm having to show great patience at the moment.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Do you know why?
Why?
It's nothing to do with you.
Okay.
I've got a pistachio bar then. I'm desperate to bite it, but it'll make such a noise that they'll hear it. It's torture.
Well, now you've preceded. You might as well do it.
No.
Oh.
I've got to keep on being disciplined. It's just lying there tempting
I
me,
know,
saying bite me.
It's looking at you.
It is.
I can tell. And so is my chocolate bar.
Yeah, but you could sort of just about crunch that
I
without any
know.
noise.
I should have gotten a softer chocolate bar, I tell you. Would have been a smarter thing to do.
Dams in the back there. He bought tea cakes one day. Perfect.
Oh.
You can bite those. They can't even hear it.
I was here that day. They were beautiful.
Fantastic. Melt in your mouth.
Yeah, that was lovely.
Okay, Great Scott. I need a hand, she's saying.
Yeah.
And that isn't it.
I know it kind of looks like I'm taking a while to fold each hand, but I'm trying not to make that kind of snap decision where you tick the box that says fold or, you know, whatever. I want to see what's happening before me and then make an informed decision on what I'm
Okay,
doing.
that's good discipline.
So it may look like I'm taking a while, but it's just because I'm trying to review where I am and what I need to be doing.
Okay, that's good. And Grinchy's got the blinds there, which is amazing. To get 480 there, I'd be very relieved. And the blind is creeping round to Kara here. She must be getting worried. She's still on 2755. Although you're in second chip position,
It's still
As we said, each round is so expensive is the problem.
Yeah, this could change at any second. I mean, someone will double through, or, you know, even just taking the blinds, as you've said, that's a huge percentage of most of these stacks. So it could flip around at any second. How very exciting. That's what I like about poker. It's quite exciting. There we go, Queen 10 in the big blind, and I am thinking to myself, okay, he's quite tight, is he gonna try and steal the blind? And yes, he does. He goes all in with Queen 10. I just don't think I can.
No.
But then again, I'm looking at how many chips he had. So he had 1340, and I know that he's got 1340 chips.
It's going to cost you 1,020 there.
Yeah. No.
Okay,
Was
you've
it
kept.
good
No,
pass?
I think it's good pass because
Okay.
you've kept. You can be betting rather than
Calling.
calling there.
Yeah.
So you can be doing something where you have some fold equity. Just a little update from that big tournament at the Western there. We had Yavid Abrahams. That was a guy who I said had come all the way back from 9,000 chips and got up to 100,000. He went all in with Jack against the chip leader, Luke Patton. And he was a bit dismayed when he saw that Luke had Queen. And nothing came in the flop, and that was the end of Javid. So he went out 5th.
Ouch. Yeah, sometimes that happens. And we've seen a heck of a lot of surprise outdraws and whatnot tonight as well. So.
And here we have a move by Kara. And she took the blinds, and that was good opportunism there from the small blind.
Thank you.
Good bit of imagination, and that is really good play by Kara. She turned down the iffy situation of calling with a suspect hand, but used the chips instead to bet and have some fold equity. And she got the fold equity and captured the blinds without a showdown. So that was top-class poker from Kara there.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Very good. Quite tight here, playing well again. He's picked his opportunity to pick up another 480 here. Well done. Well done, quite tight. Playing the situations well. He passes that. Kara will pass that as well. I think
Oh, yeah.
Joff here, what would he do with King 10? I think he could push all in. He does. I'd have done the same. Pass there, and I think the 7-8 will have to pass. He does, and that's a good move by Joff. Well done.
Now, I can't believe we've still got nearly a full table. The blinds are 326.40. So that's, for a lot of people, almost, you know, half of their stack in just the big blind alone.
We just had another big hand come in from the Western. Jules moved all in for 55,000. Luke Patton called. David Lloyd called. Jules had ace-queen. Dave had ace-jack. Luke has 10-10. So that's ace-queen, ace-jack, 10-10. The flop was 3-king-8, an ace on the turn. River was the queen. So David Lloyd goes out. Jules trebles, and Luke's pile diminishes, but only slightly.
Well, I think Snuggybug and Grinchy will probably try to battle it out to see who gets to take the blinds. If Snuggybug is aggressive enough, he'll probably take them straight away. Oh, and there we go. Can't be more aggressive than all in. What does Grinchy think about that? Not such a good call.
Not
there you
such a
go.
good chord. Well, I'll tell you what, it's all happening at the Western now. They're dropping like flies now. Ryan is out in 4th there. Jeff raised with a pair of 3s all in. Ryan called with ace-king off suit. The flop came a dream, king 7-2.
Oof.
On the turn, it's like here tonight. A 3. Gave Jeff trips. The river was a 4. And Ryan was out in 4th place.
Oh, ah.
Collected £7,200 though.
Wow. Not bad for a bit of poker. Playing a game that you like, not so bad.
Not so bad at all. Anyway, there's Kara with 9-10.
Yeah, I managed to pick up the blinds. They were just folded to me, but still. Oh no, I think I stole them there. I must have done, because I'm on the big blind now. Quite tight, will probably put in a bit of a move, yep. It's so tempting And I know it shouldn't be. It's not tempting so that I actually call them, but I find it quite tempting when someone's trying to steal my blinds. I always feel like, ooh, I bet they don't have anything. I bet I could beat them.
Well, this is incredible. We're up to 326.40. That's 960 a round, and you've still got 7 players left.
Yeah, that was a heck of a game.
This is unbelievable. Now what's Kara going to do here?
Well, I've got Joff covered if he decides to go all in, and
The thing is here, you don't have a lot of fold equity because...
Right, because he's already put in 640.
And he's only got 1,100 left.
I see.
So your fold equity is not so high.
Oh, I actually timed out.
Okay, and that's... I actually think you did the right thing there.
Oh, good.
Because I think your fold equity was slight, your hand wasn't so good, and I think that was actually the right play.
Good, I'm glad. I actually timed out just trying to think about it.
Have a look to see the stack size of your opponent. For him, it's pretty easy. It's hard to get him off that hand now. He's got too much in the middle there, and I think he calls with a lot of hands.
True.
So
and
that's
I don't
something
need
to
a
bear
coin
in
toss
mind.
to deplete my stack. That's good to keep in mind.
You've now got a round of play where you have a chance to find a hand as well. King for Snuggy Bug, but King Queen for Grinchy. And the King Queen, of course, wins that encounter because of the better kicker. Well, Kara's got... Oh, pair of 8s from Grinchy. This might save you. It does. You're not going to play that with A7, but you might have had a go and could have walked into the Ace-King. Pair of 8s has got all in. And fine play, by the way. I have no objection to all in because the blinds are so big. You'd love to take the blinds down now and get 960. Pair of 8s there against Ace-King. Pair of 8s still winning.
Ooh.
And stands up. And that's bye-bye to Joff.
Yep.
Big Slick bites the dust.
It's a nice hand, but...
6 players left. Kara still on that 2,700, lying in second place. Grinchy there, big chip leader with 5,000. And Paulie there pushes it all in. And a good attacking play. Just against the blinds. Only thing is here, Snuggy Bug's bound to call, I think.
Yeah, you're right. I can see that now. It's the chip stack kind of determines it. Ooh.
And the 5 is good enough.
Yep, that'll do.
And that's the end of Snuggy Bug. I think there, Paulie just had to imagine, well, against a blind hand, my king is probably going to be favoured. If his hand was less, it's probably not right for him to make the play because you can see that Snuggy Bug is obliged to call.
Yeah, okay.
I think we're in room for another note. I'm going to make you work. Do you think so? What's your little comment on that? Translate it for yourself. Right.
So my comment would be, how do I say this succinctly?
Check the size of the big blinds stack.
That's before making a bet. Yeah.
Are they pot committed?
Ah.
That's the question.
Yep.
You're enjoying this, aren't you?
I am. I really like learning. I know, it's sad. I'm a bit of a swat, but I like it.
She does like learning.
Are they pot committed?
And there's a all-in play. And at this stage, the all-in play has to be the case here because the blinds are so big, you can't do anything else. And we've got Carrie here now. Pair of 10s, the big hand. She's trying to call and ping! Hit the 10 on the flop. No fear now. Lovely jubbly.
Yep.
And
apologies, Cream Cage.
You did. The nice thing there was you had Cream Cage covered.
Yep.
So you had a dog's chance if it went wrong. It's a big hand. Time's running out, and there's some extra money in the pot.
That's
and
what
I
I
think
thought.
you did the right decision.
Oh, good. I thought it being 10s, it might be a bit marginal, but
I think
it felt
you did the right
right
decision because it's short-handed game. It's a big hand, short-handed, and time was running out, and you had him covered.
Yeah.
And that's the extra thing there.
I don't think I would have done it
life wasn't
otherwise.
fully jeopardised.
Excellent.
Quite tight. Really, he's gone very low now. And in fact, has had to pass that and take the big blind. So the next hand, quite tight, is going to be all in regardless.
Yeah.
Because 640 is going in the middle. Oh, sorry, it's 12. It just got up now. 640, 1280. But he is definitely all in now. So Great Scott passes, leaves these two to fight. Quite Tight hit a 9. And only a 4, an ace will help. Grinchy doesn't come.
Full house.
Oh, no, I beg your pardon. A
Sixes
9 would have helped Grinchy as well because it would have made... oh, no, because he had the 9. No, 9 wouldn't have helped. No, it was only the 8 would have helped. So that was Quite Tight back in the game. Great Scott there now. What's going to happen with Quite Tight? Has raised. Now, this is a problem. You've got an ace, but you just pass, and that's a close one there, isn't it?
I thought it was close, but with a 2, I don't know.
I'll tell you what, I'd like to have seen what the maths of that was, just to really check it out. It was a very close decision.
Okay, I probably did it too quickly. It was just, I should have thought about it more.
It's hard to pass an ace in that situation, to tell the truth. And you just maybe you had to call that, I think, odds-wise.
Okay.
But it needed to be looked at the odds there, but it's under pressure there, it's difficult. The only thing is now is you can be a better rather than a caller somewhere. Now, here... Yes, and you've become a better. You've left 1, 4, 5 behind. That's an interesting.
Isn't that silly?
Because you're doing multiples, that's why. You're doing a multiple of the 1280. Clicking that button again. But it doesn't matter leaving 1, 4, 5 because it did represent all in anyway. And that was a good bet. And that's fine because you were better on the caller. King, Queen. I wouldn't mind you bashing now. Excellent, all in.
Yay. I figured it's vulnerable, so...
Yeah, and anyway, you got the blinds are so big, 1280.
Huge.
No time trying to guess on the flop or whatever. You want to just maximum fold equity because you're now gaining 1,920 chips. I mean, there's no decision.
And I'm chip leader, hurrah!
Right, interesting here.
Yeah. This is quite scary because every single decision is so important. Now we're four-handed, we're right on the bubble.
Grinchy. What?
Oh, he kept timing out. He's going to be absolutely sick when he sees that. His computer kept kicking him off.
What a result you had here.
Yeah, I know.
The ace-queen. Oh, my goodness.
Poor Grinchy.
So he must have been...
Yeah, he kept getting disconnected throughout the game, actually. So a lot of the decisions that he made are just based on the fact that he was sitting out.
Oh, very cruel, that is.
Oh, isn't
Quite Tight to put in the bet. You've left that, and you've left it for poorly. That's good. Because you can let them fight it. There's the 9, though. Oh, dear. Wrong one won it for you.
Yeah.
And there's still 4 in there.
Darn.
Okay. Now, here's an interesting one. You've got a pair of 2s. And you don't want to join this.
No.
Because you're quite happy for them. Quite Tight's all in. Let the others fight each other. There's a good chance someone can get exterminated. Oh, my goodness. So Quite Tight's pinged the 4.
No.
And it gives him a full house. 3 4s and 2 9s. So Quite Tight stays alive. We can't get rid of the 4th player. Oh, don't say you're going to get bubbled. You've got a lot of chips.
Don't make me say.
Great Scott, pair of 7s.
Yeah, a pair of 7s. Under the gun.
Flat raise. I don't mind the flat raise now, by the way.
Yeah,
because it's so massive. It covers Grinchy anyway and covers Quite Tight. So that now at this stage, it's so big, it's fine.
Okay.
So there's not a worry anymore. I don't know, you've really asked the question there.
Yeah.
Grinchy's got a problem because it's only 1,000 more to call.
Oh,
and I think should call.
Again. He timed out again.
It's a bad pass, actually.
Yeah. No, it's a definite timeout again.
You think timeout again? Okay.
Yeah, he was having so much trouble with his internet connection.
Okay.
That's going to be very frustrating for him. Jack Queen for Paulie.
And has gone all in. Grinchy's, not timed out, is in there. And I would leave that for them, even though you've got a lot of money in there. Let them fight it. There's a jack on the flop. Oh, and that's enough. And that's the end of Grinchy.
And down to 3. Hey, look I made the money.
Being completely disconnected now, Grinchy. Been knocked out. Unlucky Grinchy for having problems there. Yep, Kara's in the money.
Very exciting for me.
Flops 10, a jack, that's quite tight, hits the jack. Pauli's hit the 9, not good enough. And quite tight. Wins a good pot. 5,000.
Yeah, we're fairly even in terms of chips, although I'm ahead.
I think you can leave this for them to fight because they're already committed in the pot to quite an extent. They've got the 640 and the 1280. You do so, that's good. Big bet with the king 9. I think it's good. Well done. Great bet.
Good bit of aggression.
Yep. Well, 6-8 suited. Quite tight here. Yeah, he asked you the question with a pair. And I think you can put this down still. You've still just about got enough to play with. It's tough.
It is tough. Oh. Yeah, it took me a while, but I did it.
Because you're all pretty equally balanced there. No, this is a good hand.
Yeah. I figured this would be one of the nicest hands I'd see for a few rounds, so I might as well try. And also
maybe you got some fold equity here because he's got 4,300 left. You've pushed all in. Well, there's a good chance he'll pass, but he's called, and it's even better. You've got him dominated here. King 9 against King 7. Oh, you just don't want to see a 7. No 7, no 7. Oh, you get a 9. Icing on the cake. Wow, Ian, look at that. 10,000. There it is. A quick check to see he hasn't got 2 clubs. No, he's only got 1. Thank goodness for that. But you've got a king clubs anyway. Icing on the cake.
Fantastic.
And now, Pauli's all in there. That's a good pass by you because you don't need to get involved there. Just let quite tight fight him out. As it happens, you would have won it, but it doesn't matter. That was good tactics because now you're in the last 2.
Yay!
And you're there with about twice as many chips. There it was. It was Pauli with the ace-4 against 2-3. The 2 hit the 2. That was enough. And we're down to the last 2. How exciting is this? Kara with king 7. What do you do?
This is my heads-up play I've been looking forward to.
It's a big bet. Quite tight. Knows all his chips will be going in if he calls that. And you win the blinds there. Now quite tight. Is he going to attack you? We wait. In anticipation. Yes, he does. All in. Kara, you've got 10,000 left. I think you can put it down. It didn't look the best thing there to call.
Ooh, that looks better. An ace.
That looks better. I imagine we're going to see something here. 4,480.
That covers him, so that's enough.
That's enough. Well done. You're up to 11,800.
Yay!
Oh no!
Oh no!
Ace, queen, raised. I don't think you're going to like that. No, you don't.
Thank goodness for that.
Well.
Oh boy, king 9 against ace 6.
It doesn't look too bad for you there.
It doesn't.
And you bet. Oh, this is it. He's going to call with the ace. He does call with the ace. You need to call the remaining chips. You're going to call that, obviously.
Yeah. I had a quick look at the number of chips in the pot and the chips, you know, all the relative chip things.
It's only 900 more, and you call it. Oh, you've hit the 9 straight away.
Yay!
Oh, two pairs, 9s and 7s. No ace, no ace, no ace. Woo! Yay! Kara Scott.
Thank you very much.
The winner of the sit and go. Brilliant.
Yay!
Wow. That is so good.
Yay!
That is so, so good.
I was so excited.
I know you were. Really, really good.
Oh, it was a good thing I actually won the tournament while we were on our break because I was doing a massive dance and everything, and I'm pretty sure that the guys in the gallery would have brought me back on air if they could have. Because it was a bit embarrassing. I'm not the best at dancing.
That was excellent. Excellent.
Yay!
So I enjoyed that, and I think overall, we've had a really good night, because overall we've had the best result. I'm not a bok for Kara, so I'm a lucky mascot. That's great.
Definitely.
I think overall I've seen great improvement in your play. Good. I like the way you're thinking.
Good.
And overall, I think you've also got some areas where we can refine it even more.
Definite improvement.
And I think you're going to be even better next time.
That's fantastic. Now, just for everyone who's been watching, these are the things that I take away from this. And this is what, you know, for any other beginners in my position, this might be quite handy for you as well. So number one, continuation bets must have some kind of worth. In fact, they must follow a storyline. What are you trying to represent that you have after the flop?
Very good.
Very important. Fold equity. This is very important. Raisers must have fold equity unless it's a tickle bet, unless you're trying to tickle them into a pot.
When you've got a big hand yourself.
Yes, when you have a big hand yourself. Number three, check the size of the big blind stack. Are they pot committed? So if you're going to make a raise...
Or a steal.
Or a steal, if you're going to try and steal, if they're pot committed already, then you're not stealing. They're going to obviously call and you're going to get involved in a heads up probably.
So if your hand is a bit weak there, you say
goodbye.
I don't really want to go in this because I'm going to be probably the wrong end of it because he's going to call with anything. No fold equity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Very good. And the last thing I'm taking out of this is make use of my big hands. How many times in a sit and go am I going to get king, king or ace, ace, that, you know, sort of massive monster hand? Try to make the most of it. Don't put in a 4 times a big blind raise if it's going to scare everyone away.
Fantastic.
Did I do well?
You did do well.
Yay! Thank you very much, and thanks everyone out there who was in the chat box with all the encouragement as well. Now, I'm going to grin away here while we go and look at the MTT. I think we've got the final table.
Yep. So,
Yay.
Kerry, you've had your private lesson there, didn't you?
I know. People pay a lot of money for that kind of private lesson. Thank you I'm taking this piece of paper home. I'm putting it up beside my computer.
There we go.
Very exciting.
Even though I'm a Bock for Michelle, she does have her piece of paper by a computer as well. So.
I know. I think where I got it from. She's a very good player, and I have a lot to learn.
Okay. So this is the last 4 of our multi-table tournament.
There we go. We've got the last 4, like you said. We've got Will Tomcat, Lance Boy, Frey Bentos, and Nick.
And the blinds are 800, 1600.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they are. Now, we started with 105 entrants over 13 different tables. There were 12-minute blinds, and the total prize pool that's being divided tonight is $1,050. So whoever goes out next in 4th place is going to take home just about $100. Now, the difference between that and 3rd place is about $30, so that's what they're playing for here.
My pistachio bar is still lying there untouched on the table.
I know, my chocolate bars
Kara's
as well.
chocolate wafer bar is quietly being munched.
As quietly as possible.
And I'm contemplating trying to coordinate a bite of the pistachio bar with a cough from Kara. That might do it.
Or a
But
big
then I'll have
rattle
to
of
crunch
paper.
it anyway, so I think I'm going to have to leave it. Okay, back to the final. And Frey Bentos takes the blinds down there. So we've got Will Tomcat, our chip leader, with 76,000. He's got almost half the chips. Total chips being 157,500.
Nice position to be in.
He's got a middle pin straight draw here with his pair of 5s. That's a 7. And of course, ironically, A7 requires the 5. But Will Tomcat saw the possibilities there. He had a pair and the draw, and he used the power of his chips and took down the money. Good play.
Good play.
Lance Boy makes it 10,000. Uh-oh. There could be trouble ahead. Because he's pot committed, and here's the trouble. It's ace-king. He's hit the king. There's no escape. Hit the ace, rather. No escape. And the Lance Boy with king-jack is gone. Nick there with ace-6 on the small blind. Raises to 4. Takes it down.
And there we go. Final 3 in our MTT. I think fairly soon we're going to see some heads-up play as well here. Jack 4 for Will Tomcat. He's on the small blind. Is he going to try and take the blinds? He is. He puts in 7,000 into the pot, and Fray Bentos puts it down. And considering his hand, Fray Bentos, definitely a good move. Now, these blinds are coming around really quickly, obviously, because they're only three-handed, but because of the way the MTTs work, they've all got a fair amount of chips, so they can definitely afford not to have to be pushing all in like you see in a sit and go in the final three. A bit more play here. Let's see, a pair 6 for Nick. What will you do? Well, that seems to be the level that they've found, that 7,000.
Yep, they found their
How did you put it?
exchange rate.
That's it. They found the exchange rate.
Okay, come on. You might as well pop that.
I know, I
you
was
might as well
thinking-
take that home as well. Check out the exchange rate of the table. So if you're at the table and you suddenly find that people aren't paying any respect to raises, if you're in a money game or whatever, say, well, I'll try a different price. Let's see what suits you.
Very good. And in fact, Nick did just that. He put in a bet of, what was it, 4,000 instead, and tried to pull someone in, probably.
Yeah.
And then he did.
So
Unfortunately,
check out the
he pulled in
exchange
3
rate.
sevens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Check out the exchange rate. That goes down on my list.
Will Tomcat,
Will Tomcat what?
ace 3 on the button. What's he going to do?
Will he? Won't he? Will Tomcat?
Exactly. Will Tomcat raise? He did. But look at this. He's going to have to call because he's committed. And a 6 would make it straight. Oh my goodness, it comes. He didn't need it. He was going to win on merit anyway, but ouch indeed.
Still the chip leader, but only just now.
Yeah. his
Will
lead-
Tomcat recover?
Lead slithered away, slithered off him there. Pretty balanced here. Nick's still trailing, but blinds 1,000, 2,000. They've all got a bit of play still, which is good.
They do indeed.
Tomcat raises, flat raise.
Now, I'm a bit torn because I love the final of the MTT, and I don't want to talk over it, but we've also got a few emails, and I'm not entirely sure how we should do this.
Go on, slip in an email.
Okay,
go on.
I'm going to read
and I'll
one over the
monitor it.
top.
If it's really juicy, then I'll...
Give me a kick under the table
Yeah,
and I'll
okay.
shut my mouth.
Here we go.
Okay.
Actually, let's just watch this one because it is a raise from Tom. Okay, finished. Off you go.
Okay, this is an email from Doubletop. Doubletop, who is here in London on Friday, actually, playing live, which is really nice. Hi, James and Kara. Well done, Kara, on the Johnny Chan interview. Maybe in the future, Poker Night Live can get some of the great players, such as Daniel Negreanu, Phil Hellmuth Jr., Jennifer Harmon, Howard Lederer, and one of my favorites, Chris Jesus Ferguson. If Poker Night Live could ever land the big fish, Texas Dolly, that would be gold. I'd like to ask James, when people talk about moving up cash games, when people talk about moving up cash games when you can beat the game. Ooh.
Oh, here's an all-in. Ace,
oh.
king. What's a pair twos? No, the pair twos surrenders.
Gotta surrender there, don't you? Right, so what is beating the game? Due to family commitments, I have to play low-level stakes, $5 sit-and-goes, and low-level cash games. Concerning mainly cash games, what is really meant by this term, beating the game? And Kara, well done for keeping James on his toes tonight. Well, I don't think James needs me to keep him on his toes. The man has more energy than I have had all week, I think. And that's from Doubletop.
Okay, beating the game is actually, just as it says really, having played, say, a size of cash game for a certain period of time, i.e. a significant amount of time, and being able to beat the game and be a winner, show a profit in that game. And if you can continually show a profit at one level, two things. One, your bankroll will have grown because you've been winning in the game. If it's grown enough that you're able to move up to the next level, well, then you can try it because you've already beaten that game. But what I'd suggest is that you don't move up all in one go. I would say have a try up at the next level, make sure that you feel comfortable at that level, make sure that you can make all the plays you should be making, and if not, just slide back down again. and then try sliding back up again to see if you feel any easier. Or just split the percentage of your time. Still play your old level and part of the time the new level until you feel fully acclimatized to it. Also, be cautious because you'll probably know the players at your old level and you're going to come across new players in the new level.
Ah.
So when you first join the new level, you're going to find it more difficult because you don't know the players. Okay, this will be slightly compensated because they don't know you either. But bear in mind that you're back to a new learning period and learning and collecting data about your new found friends, hopefully.
Good call.
So that is beating the game. When you're able to beat one level, and you can qualify for moving up.
Okay.
But everything should be bankroll related.
Well, you were saying 40 times the maximum buy-in for a cash game. What about for a sit and go?
Yeah, for sit and goes, you should probably have 100.
Really?
Yeah, if you play $5 sit and goes, you should probably have 100 sit and goes. You could lose,
Wow.
you know, you could lose a lot of sit and goes in a row and play correctly.
No, you're right. I'm playing way over my bankroll.
I mean, it's okay. Maybe maybe that is slightly over the top. But I mean, let's have a look for sit and goes. Well, certainly 50 then.
Yeah. Okay. So for 50. Wow,
It's
because I don't
because
like
you
playing
feel-
$2 sit and goes because I think it's
No, well,
more
okay,
difficult
but if
than a 5 or a 10.
you can monitor how you're doing. I mean, basically, it doesn't have to. If you say, right, well, I will keep on playing $5, and then if I do lose my week's allowance, then I'll wait till next week, but I'll keep on playing it. You actually technically say, I'm prepared to go up to playing this many
Okay.
to give myself mathematically the chance for the luck to even itself out, etc.,
Yeah.
etc. So if you're prepared to play, that's fine as well.
Okay.
So you can allocate that, and you can do it that way. But bear in mind, what it's really saying is that in a game which is a mixture of luck and skill,
Yeah.
it's possible to have a horrible run of bad luck.
Yeah.
And it's important. It's just like saying investing in the stock market. If I say buy some shares, if you're overbetting your bankroll, you can't withstand when these shares go down, and you have to say bail out and say, oh, I need the money, I've got to sell. Oh, I've got to sell now when they've dropped. I've lost half my money.
That's a good point.
Because you've overbet your bankroll. But if you can afford to buy the shares and your bankroll can withstand buying the shares, the shares you can be unlucky. You've bought them exactly the wrong time. They tumble for 4 years, but you keep them in there for 20 years. And eventually, oh, look, they came back and eventually they showed you a profit. Whereas in the long run, the stock market will go from here to a higher point.
Yeah.
But how it gets there is a whole big bell curves, up and down, up and down, up and down. If you're over betting your bankroll, you can't withstand the bell curves.
Yeah.
If you're over betting your poker bankroll, you can't withstand the bell curves because it might go lose, 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 and you don't have any money left to play the next tournament. You can't withstand the bell curves.
You're absolutely right.
So that is our thinking.
Yeah.
Now, you might be lucky enough not to be very unlucky.
Right at the beginning.
You mightn't have this very bad run right at the beginning.
Yeah.
So you mightn't need that big bankroll. You can say, I didn't need it. Look, I did it from this. Well
But that's
done.
luck.
And then you might have won enough that eventually you moved into having the correct size bankroll.
But again, that's luck,
That's
isn't
luck.
it?
Because you might be some unlucky person who actually has a horrible run to start
Yeah.
with and loses 30 sit and goes in a row and played them perfectly. It's possible.
True. Yeah, you know what? I think you're right. I find it difficult to play at my bankroll size because unless I'm playing on Beat the Presenter or some of our sites, I find that the quality of opponent just it's more
Listen,
difficult for me to understand
but playing sit
where
and
they're coming
goes in a
from.
year, basically, you can actually allocate even
Yeah.
$500 to your sit and go, spread out over the year.
True.
Let's divide it in weeks even.
True. You know
Okay,
what? That's
and we
not
can
so
take
much,
it
is
at like $10 a week and say, well, if I do that, I'm not going to play anymore. Or $20 a week. Now, in half a year, you've got your 500 bankroll.
True.
Say, okay, if I do my $20 in a week, I'll wait, but I'll reinvest next week and I'll keep on.
Yeah.
Oh, and I've won some money, I can play some more now. So you can treat it like that, but in your mind, you have to realise the amount of time you have to allocate to give yourself a fair judgment of how you're doing.
Yeah.
Here we have a situation here, Fray Bentos, pair of sixes. Oh, it survived against the King 4, and it's taken Fray Bentos to chip leader.
Wow. Not so good for Will Tomcat. Will Tomcat recover this time?
He needs to recover fast because the blinds are 1,000, 2,000. He's got 20,000. Well, he's got 23 now.
Pair of jacks didn't get paid, unfortunately, for Fray Bentos. Didn't come up against anything that might want to have a flutter there. King Jack for Will Tomcat.
Yep, I don't mind that. Takes the blinds or doubles up.
It's got to be so disheartening when you finally get a hand and you just can't get anyone to play.
It is, it's frustrating, isn't it? Oh, I had one the other night.
Frustrating.
Oh no, this is horrible. I'm at the Western, I'm in the 500 freeze out. I'm down to the last about 20 odd. Oh, here we have Will Tom all in.
No.
And I'm on the button. People have all acted. I haven't looked at my cards. Oh no, I had actually. I actually looked a bit earlier than normal. Funny enough, I don't normally. I had actually. Oh my goodness, I've got aces.
Oh.
So I just leave them, and I don't normally look at my cards, so I make it look like I haven't looked at them basically.
Yeah.
And in early position, someone raises. Well, the saliva starts to dribble slightly down my jaw.
Drooling in anticipation.
And it comes round to me, everyone else passes, so now I squeeze my cards as if I haven't looked at them before. And then I count my chips out. And I look to see if I call, how many have I got left. And then I think, okay, all in. As if I've decided I'm more or less committed if I... So I've made it look like pass, pass. It comes round to the razor. He calls. Yes! Job done. Oh, here we go. King Jack and the King Jack on the river. The King was needed and he got it. And that takes him back to chip leader. Anyway, the first razor calls. I'm thinking, yes, job done. He turns over his cards. Aces.
No! Oh.
So we ended up getting a split pot just when I needed to win this one, and we shared the blinds.
Grudgingly.
Oh, I wanted to throw them out
awful.
the... Yeah, horrible.
What a shame. Oh, God, what are the odds of that? Oh, that's so frustrating.
Yeah. It could have been worse. If he'd gone and made a flush or something, runner, 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 that would have been worse, wouldn't it?
Oh. Yeah, that would have been worse.
That would have been a Balrog. Oh, big hand. American Airlines on the big blind. Blinds now 1,500, 3,000. And it's a raise from Tomcat.
Wow.
Fray Bentos is going to disappear. And Nick is going to probably just push it in, I think. Because
salivating.
Yes, he does. He pushes it in, salivating, yes. And
there
lovely,
we go.
jubbly, a new chip leader.
Wowza.
If you've got some emails, you can start reading them because we're gonna. It's neck and neck with what we're gonna see
True
here.
enough, yeah. I've got another couple here. This one's from Geordie222, another one of the guys that I met on Friday. Lovely to meet, a Welsh boy. Hi, Karen James. Amazing show as always, especially with James in tip-top commentator mode. He's well funny. You know what? I agree with you, Geordie. Just want to say quick thanks for all involved in Friday night's meetup at the Gutshot, especially Sam Orms, our beloved leader, that is Sam Orms, for organizing the event and looking after us all personally on the night as well. Muchas gracias. Also for taking the time to talk to everyone and getting our feedback on and opinions of the show. Plus, thanks to the Poker Night Live crew who made it down afterwards. Kara, Nick, Mr. and Mrs. Bannon, Sam Orms, and the other Sam. I've left a post on the forum for all to see what they missed out on, and really looking forward to the next one whenever and wherever it is. Anyways, just a quick question for Kara, the expert. Oh, that's so sweet. Or James, the Murray Walker of poker.
Ooh.
I don't know what that means, so...
He's the racing drive
Is he?
commentator.
Okay. See,
Motor racing commentator, yeah.
That shows my knowledge.
And they're going round.
Jordy says, in the last 2 MTTs I've been involved in, last night and tonight, both of them being the Poker Night Live MTT, I found my results drastically improve after TK's advice on having a lot of patience and waiting to trap opponents on good hands. This seems to be working in the early stages, but when it comes down to the last 20 or so, I find myself short-stacked and gambling with marginal hands to try and double through, but losing more often than not. Should I still wait for a premium hand when say I only have 2 or 3 big blinds left? Any advice greatly appreciated, and kind regards to both of you and the crew. Well, thank you very much, Geordie. So what do you think?
You're leaving it too late, it sounds, Geordie, because if you've only got a few blinds left in your hand, what hasn't he got?
Fold equity.
Yes. Oh, my star pupil.
Yay.
Excellent. He hasn't got fold equity. So you've left it too late, and you should have made a bet with anything earlier which had fold equity rather than hanging on to try and find a major hand, which might never arrive.
Yeah.
All you'll see is your fold equity just dripping away, just like an egg timer. Those grains of sand are all fold equity. The longer you wait, the more sand which drops into the bottom of that egg timer.
Yes. So you don't have to wait for the premium hand.
Play position.
Just what I was going to say. Play position when you have fold equity. Excellent. One last email then. This one from Jonathan Fraser. Hi, lovely Kara and Jimmy. Well, he seems to know you fairly well.
He does. I don't like Jimmy, I'm afraid. It has to be James.
Got to be James.
James.
You just don't suit to Jimmy.
No, James.
Yes, exactly. The dashing, the charming Mr. James Browning. I've noticed that most of the time I get beat in a hand is when I get outdrawn. I'm usually mostly always ahead when the money goes in. I play cash 90% of the time and MTTs and sit and goes when I get bored of cash. I'm a winning player, but not enough to really make a profit as I only play small stakes. But I take it really seriously. Help. So he's getting outdrawn, but he's ahead when the money goes in.
Okay, I think you've probably answered it. You basically are a cash player, which generally a good style for cash games is to be tight, aggressive. And that is a winning formula for cash. You can win at cash with other styles, that's for sure. But tight, aggressive probably will collect the money. Now, you're either a winning player or not. If you're a winning player, it doesn't matter what stakes you play, your wins are just in relation to the size of the stakes. Basically, it's how many units you're winning. We're an all-in here from Will Tom, 377.
There we go.
And the Queen wins it. Queen high.
I hope we're going to get to see the end of this.
I know. So anyway, you're either a winner or not. So I think what's happening when you said you normally got the best hand, but you're losing, this is probably in MTTs. You probably are suffering from what our previous viewer was suffering from, is you're probably hanging on to try and find a major hand. You haven't got enough chips to protect your hand. You're getting called by a lesser hand, and somewhere along the line you're going to lose it. You are winning some of these better hands, but if you keep on going to the well with these good hands, they can't win all the time. Because if you're 6-4 on, and then 6-4 on, eventually one of these hands is going to get beaten. And normally that'll be the better hand. You're probably waiting too late. Make a move with your fold equity instead. Oh my goodness, I don't think we're going to see the end of this, which is a shame.
We just don't have the time, I'm afraid, tonight. That is such a shame, but hopefully if you watch tomorrow, it's Barry and Nick on tomorrow night. I'll leave them a note, and maybe they'll be able to tell you who won.
It's James on tomorrow night.
Is it?
It is, yes.
I'm sorry, I was given the wrong information. I apologise. Mr. James Browning, our very own.
I'm Barry, I think.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm not on for another 2 weeks, so I'll miss you all very much. I'll be playing from home, though, and warming up my poker hands, getting ready.
Kara, I thoroughly enjoyed tonight with you, and well done.
Thank you
were
very
great.
much. And so were you. See you guys all again next time.